Welcome back to the. You good? Welcome back to the fall split of 2019. We have found ourselves in the South American region back for Group A and Group C today. If you missed out on any of the action from A, B, and C, D, you can find yourself onto the YouTube channel at PUBG Mobile Esports. You need to like and subscribe that to keep up to date with all the action, and if you have been following the action, you'll know that today we have a banger of a series. We've got 5 of the top 6 teams in South America featuring today so far. I'm joined by Wen here. Congratulations, you've made it through another day of PUBG Mobile Esports. It's been fantastic, hasn't it, so far?
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, especially watching the South American teams. But hopefully today we'll see more action here from the PMCO.
Yeah, it has been fantastic so far. If you do want to catch any of the action, go onto that YouTube channel, as I said. But if you want to get involved in play, you can download the app for free from the iOS store or from the Google Play Store. Completely free. It's a good game, good fun. Yep. I know I've been enjoying it back at the hotel. It's fantastic.
It's very easy to download it, very easy to get into it as well. There's a lot of modes that you can try, so it's just by the click of a button, you're into the game.
Speaking about into the game, we're going to get into the games shortly, but there's been a few teams we've kept our eyes on recently. You saw firsthand PubgDaZueira really giving the hurt last night in the South American region. But here's how the groups are going to play out. We've got 4 groups now. We've got A, B, C, and D to start off. There's 24 matches to decide who from the bottom 8 of those are getting eliminated. Next we have the semi-finals. Only 3 groups there. That's the top 24 teams. Again, we will get rid of another 8 teams from the bottom of there, and we'll go all the way to the top 16. From there, 10 matches to decide who will go through to the prelims and to the grand stage. To get through to that, you need some points. 20 points for a chicken dinner, 14 points for second place. Third place, you're only getting 10, so that's only half a chicken dinner. You'll stay hungry if you get a third. Kills are 1 point apiece. Very important. Last season, we had 30 points for a chicken dinner. We've scaled that back to 20 now, so teams are more hungry for those kills. And it has seen an increase in action too.
Yep, it's a lot of these teams started fighting very early on, so there's a little bit of a difference in between last season. But these are the teams that we're playing. The ones that we are keeping our eyes on is like Team Queso, Brazilian Killers. We had the starters, especially playing very good yesterday. We have Team Solid, a little bit like last year, but Disturbed is one of the teams that got themselves a chicken dinner, but we've yet to see them really play consistently.
No, they haven't. Also 6-9 in there have scored themselves 2 chicken dinners, but apart from the chicken dinners, they've been pretty quiet. They have had 1 star player though in Pedro, who, if you haven't seen, 2 matches in a row, 1v1 clutch the first for a chicken dinner. Second match, 1v3 clutch for a chicken dinner. So he's been having a pretty good tournament so far as an individual player, but the rest of his team's going to need to step up and join him there so they can continue on this good form. Of course, it is the bottom 8 that we will be saying goodbye to. So those teams that find themselves in that lower echelon at the moment, they're going to need to get a wriggle on as they're running out of games. Each team plays 12 games in this first group stage, and we're already a third of the way through.
Yep, we're already a third of the way, as the team just said. Sorry, Ben just said. I said Tim. What the heck is going on with me? So again, we've gone a little bit through with it, but still a lot more action coming up after this. We have a lot more games that we played, and we can see the overall standing. The starters sitting at number 1 with their winner chicken dinner, but 33 kill points. They're setting themselves up there. Brazilian Killers followed through with 29 points of kill points, and with their chicken dinner, they're staying at 64 points totally. 6-9 Esports, the one that Ben just said, 62 points, and they're the ones that he's keeping his eyes on.
Certainly am. Nova Esports there, the top team without a chicken dinner. They'll be looking to right the wrongs today and find themselves one. As you can see, the 5 of the top 6 teams though that we have today. What a treat that is. As we're moving on to the next page soon enough, there it is. Batman, they had a consistent day 1, but unfortunately didn't grab a chicken dinner, and they find themselves, after everyone's had a playthrough, on the bottom, the 9 to 16 bracket. That's not where you want to be. SVG, they are in 13th place with a chicken dinner, an uncommon sight, but they had one good game, but they were unable to bring the consistency level that they would have liked.
Yeah, they couldn't keep the momentum. They were, of course, in from Group D. They played wonderfully, but I think they were lacking in terms of, as you said, consistency. The momentum, they couldn't keep it. They kind of fell through after the first couple of games, and then we just didn't see them after that.
Now, the teams on your screen are actually still safe, as we are only dropping the bottom 8, but they're in that danger zone where you need to be thinking about getting a few more points if you're down there. These are the teams that are actually in the danger zone at the moment. They are in the bottom 8, so if they continue the form that they're on, we'll be saying goodbye to them. Hard drop. They definitely need to get a bit of a wriggle on. Crazy is another name there that I did not expect to see. Lots of lots of teams floating around that bottom end, around that 12-point mark. So just one big game from them that can shoot them right up the leaderboard.
Yep, it's not still that far. Again, it's still very early days. They can catch back up, especially with the new point system that's being introduced here, where winning chicken dinner gets you 20 points, and then from 11 to 16, you still get a point each. So at least you can still catch back up to the middle table if you are at the bottom table, if you find yourself there.
Yeah, it is just one chicken dinner away from shooting straight up the ladder. We saw that yesterday in the wildcard region. One of the bottom teams, they managed to score themselves a chicken dinner and they shot straight up the leaderboard. A lot of these teams now, they're feeling the nerves. They had their first games out of the way, so maybe they got rid of a little few nerves, but some of them are going to have to adjust their game plans going into this game. A lot of these top teams have been playing in this lobby we have today, so only one can emerge the winner.
Yep.
Who's your money on at the moment?
Of course, my money is on the ones who's at the top. Of course, the Bastardos. I think they played wonderfully yesterday. Of course, only one is winning chicken dinner, but at least they're playing it very consistently. We were saying that the difference between them and the other teams is that they kept the momentum going all the way throughout the games. They placed top 3, I think twice. So after getting that winning chicken dinner, they placed top 3 again. So their points are really, really consistently up there.
That's fantastic to hear. Bastardos having a belter at the moment. Personally, I think they're Brazilian killers. And they were our champions last split, and I think they're a championship quality team, and hopefully they can go again this season. I think that they're going to have a good day today.
Yep,
they've been used to playing against quality opposition, and today there is definitely quality opposition in this lobby.
Yep, a lot of these teams are very, very hungry, and again, they just started it off. Sometimes you kind of need some time to warm up, and the first A, B, and C and D groups are the point of that, to give you some gauge how your opponents are playing, to kind of learn about what you're dealing with, and then start to adapt to the gameplay that's being presented to you.
Speaking of adaptation, we're going to see the groups mixing for the first time, really, and will there be any hot drops or any contesting of early loot zones now that we're mixing the lobbies? So when we have the A and the B lobby, they kind of know already where each other are going to drop. You know, they're kind of respectful and they stay away from each other in the early game. But now we have A and C mixing up, and maybe we're going to see some teams fighting for the same loot zones on the drop.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be some overlap here and there, especially because the circle comes up very, very early on, so they can kind of gauge where they want to go. But again, there will be some overlap here coming in from Groups A and Group C, because again, they've just played, or they're just starting to play each other right here and right now.
Certainly is lots of overlap I'm expecting, especially on our new map that we do have today. We have Vikendi as our second map. A newer map to the pool. A lot of teams probably wouldn't have practiced on this much as Erangel or Miramar.
Yeah.
So what are you expecting to see out of Vikendi?
Hopefully a lot of fights, but again, we've known the South American teams to be very, very passive very early on. They play it a little bit slower, and then there's this kind of pounce and go boom at the end of the game. So I think we won't be seeing that, what we usually see from Vikendi from the South American teams.
They certainly are. They have been a more passive region, South America, as you've noticed, but that late game, their decision making and their fights, they're very explosive, very fast paced. Their use of utility is also very excellent.
Yeah.
One thing I like about Vikendi is some of the weapons that we have there. We have the PP Bison coming out, we have the G36, also a very popular weapon on that map, but the snipers as well. Because of the long open sight lines in the fields that are in play, lots of circles ending around trees is like the only cover. The snipers do come out, but that's enough about Vikendi. This is Erangel, our classic map, our first map in the game all the way since beta. It's a big one, and teams are excited to play on this. The DP28 is the unique weapon we see on the map. First plane path of the day, what's it going to greet us with? And this is a bit of a doozy. This is a bit of a rinky-dink plane path. It's going straight from northeast to southwest. It will pass over the military island momentarily, but a lot of the map is cut off. Shooting range, George Paul, they are going to be difficult places to get to. Sverny will still be in action. Zaki is about as far away as you can get. So this eastern side of the map is going to be very hotly contested.
Yeah, this type of airplane path makes it very hard for them to reach the furthest path, like Zarki and shooting range, as you said. So because of it, there is going to be very much of a hard drop here coming in from at least School and Pochinki, Milta Power. I think there will be some hard drops or some overlap with these teams coming into that.
Certainly looks to be some overlap at the moment, as we have most of the teams piling out of the plane pretty early on. Team looking hard going to Stalber there. That's a rare drop. I haven't seen that too much. Kameshki might be occupied too. Lots of teams dropping over the center of the map around Milta. They'll be trying to fan their way out, making themselves go to Pochinki and the likes. Lots of loot options on this Erangel map. Gee, it's a big one, so I don't think we'll be seeing any action too early on. The South American region, as we have mentioned before, it's pretty passive.
Yep, they're pretty passive, but at the same time, again, there's a little bit of an overlap here, even in Milta. So you have to see that some things that it will happen, some action will actually be presented to us, and hopefully 9K and IN will probably fight their way up the scale, because again, this very early days, a lot of these teams can just catch back up with the top rankings with just getting one win chicken dinner.
That is the truth, my man. INS, as you said, 9K, they are landing in the same town, as this is a very unfriendly circle. So the plane was a far eastern plane, and now we found ourselves with about as west as you can get with the circle. A lot of water in play means there's not a lot of land to squabble over, as we see the military base actually being contested. 6-9 have been one of our hot teams, Nova one of our not teams, and they've found themselves in the same region of the map to start off the day. 6-9 had some good clutches, as we see a nice skin there. That looks like a mummy suit that he's got on. That's a scary sight to be running around.
He's kind of using it in the wrong map. Kind of useful in Vikendi, I think, but not too much here. As you said, there's a little bit of an overlap here, so hopefully for us at home watching, hopefully they'll be fighting, but it's either that or they're going to find themselves some vehicles and get the hell out of there very fast.
Well, it seems like 6-9 has chosen the latter option of finding the vehicle and running. They probably spotted their opponent team, and they're not keen to take the fight too early. Haven't found too much loot, as we see the player running around without a backpack or a vest on. Helmet. You need a helmet if you are going to take those early engagements. They're very, very important. So 6-9 will try and rotate early away into the zone. Maybe gatekeep the bridge here, as we see a bit of action. I believe this is Milta being occupied by two teams. So lots of eastern drop zones are being occupied by two teams, but so far it's all quiet. No shots raining out, no knocks being given out just yet. No dirt naps. You see shots now coming through, as we have TS on board with them. This team's solid. We'll see what they can bring today. New day, new opportunity to climb up the rankings.
Yep, kind of similar to what happened yesterday. They kind of started slow, although there was a little bit of an overlap from Group C and Group D as well. But they played very passive towards the middle stages of the game. Sometimes they have to meet up, especially because of the rotation. Yep. But other than that, they really evade fights altogether if they could.
Not the worst grand strategy going on is getting yourself into that final circle, giving yourself the best chance of claiming that chicken dinner. As we see a level 3 backpack equipped on this player already, level 2 helmet and vest. Not a lot of boosters, none actually in fact. Got an AK-47 as his weapon of choice. No helmet on this player, he needs to find that real quick, otherwise he's going to be wearing one to the face. Do not want to be doing that early in the morning.
Yep, that's certainly very true. I think the point right now is to just kind of loot up very safely, further as you can from the opponents, especially DRM, who has the vantage point right now. They are a little bit higher up because of the terrain, and those soldiers can see through where Robson is, but Robson's hiding behind the wall, so there's no point for them to fight either or.
Yeah, you can see Robson just proning on the wall or on the roof there, getting some third-person vision, letting his teammates know where the enemy is so they can loot safely, but DRM has rotated away further towards the bridge and closer to the zone, so really a wise choice, as we see some baggy pants worn by my man on screen now. This loot isn't too fantastic for either of these teams, actually, as we see a player pushing up early. He might be lost in the sauce a bit here. He needs to run away. He probably saw some players there, saw some action, and didn't want to push too far into it. Bit of early argy-bargy going on as some scouting has been made.
Yep, and as you said that, he reverts back to a more defensive position. Again, they do not want to try and fight this, but they want to get some information where the opponents are on this map or nearer to where they are nearer to them, so that they can make the decision whether to fight them or just revert back or just reverse out of their danger. So I think one of the decisions is to just revert.
Certainly looking to revert and just play for that late game and play for a bit longer. So as we see a knock actually come out, this is the Drunken Masters team, or Drunken Marines I should say, team. They've got a knock early on. Will they be able to finish it off? It looks like that player is pretty safe with his buddies, but might have found the knock and looking to push forward onto the team in question and try and take advantage of that.
It does look like DRM wants to go for this, but again, EGG's player Gobrak, I think, is very far behind, so they have to kind of make haste if they want to finish this off, and he has cover as well. So as soon as they commit to this fight, they might be fired upon as well.
This is the side of Eagle Eye Gaming, I believe, that has been knocked. The one player there, he's been left all alone in the middle. He might be thirsted, and that could be the first blow of the day. Looks like no one's going to go help their buddy just yet.
Yep, they don't want to contest this as well. So I think sometimes we see this a lot with the South American teams. As soon as somebody gets knocked very early on, they cut their losses and just straight away they just run the hell out of that. They don't want to take the fight very early on, and they're stronger, way stronger in the end game. So I think that's the better decision. If they can't get to him, I think just better just bail out there.
Yeah, there's the old adage of, oh, they have gone and helped him up just so that Drunken Marines have missed an opportunity there to push and secure that 1 point. But there is, the old adage of help your friend syndrome, where you see your buddy get knocked out, you feel bad for them, you don't want them to go out of the game early, you don't want them to be a spectator, so you go and help them, and then you end up laying on the floor yourself.
Yep, sometimes that could happen as well, but DRM again, this time around they're just rushing out with the cars, but he does see them, but they do not want to commit too much to this, but they are firing back.
Shots, as he said, probably wearing the worst of that. They are stacked up 4 men in 1 car, so that's pretty risky business. They haven't got the most loot in the world, so they have chosen to rotate pretty early. They might stop off at this compound now and try and secure themselves a bit more loot. They do see an open door greeting them, so it might have been pilfered already. So they see not a lot of loot in this building that they would be too happy about. A few flashbangs laying around here and there, some ammunition for some guns that they don't even have.
It's very early days for them still. Still a couple of houses that they can go through and towards this route, but they're just stopping by to make sure that EEG is not way behind them, or just like spray down, and his will get the knock on the gaps, and gaps will be dropped and killed as well.
So that is our first player of the day going down. That is one of the EEG guys, as we see Mark's getting on top of the roof. Marky, he's found himself a nice little position. He'll be looking for any rotations, any teams trying to rotate through. They are playing on the edge of the circle at the moment in the Drunken Marines. So if there's any teams around that Milta area trying to rotate through, they'll have first eyes on them. So it's a bit of a quicker start to the day as we see another car trying to crest over the ridge. Shots probably won't be taken out from that range. It is quite difficult. Maybe as they come closer, there are a few shots from an AK-47 rattle out. That is a 4-car rotation, so it should be fairly safe. Pretty difficult to take out those vehicles if they are going as 4.
Yeah, especially that. I think this is the better decision among all these teams, is that if you want to get into a car, get into as many cars as you can, so that you kind of split the offenses. If you get attacked, you have another car that kind of can just run the hell out of that if they want to. Or if you have problems, you can just revert back and flank with the second car. So they have a lot more ways to deal with the situation if they have more vehicles in their hands.
Certainly seems to be the more popular option as the player picks up the pan marquee. He's earned a pan for his frag. As we get the zone moving in a southwestern direction. Primorsk in play, Quarry in the smack bang in the middle, Gatka still at play. But there is still that little bit of water on that southern coast, meaning that the play zone isn't as big as it could be.
Yep, isn't as big, and still there's nobody that has to track down too far from here, because they're very close towards each other, so they don't have to track too far. I don't think that they will be having a problem, but sometimes they will be meeting up with each other, so I think they will be having a problem there.
Yeah, of course, we see players start to rotate in. We see more and more engagements. This is CR taking a few shots, pot shots, as we see one more knock onto that EEG squad. That means there's only 2 players active and alive at the moment for them. Of course, they can try and get the revive on that player that has been knocked, but I'm assuming he's been knocked out of a car. This is Cream that we are on board with now, as they have found themselves a compound in the circle, just hanging out. As more Drunken Marines action onto EEG. One of their players stuck there behind some trees, throwing out as many smokes as he can.
Yeah, but the best part is the DRM players coming in from behind, and he gets dropped, but no, he's riding in behind the smokes. For the meantime, Red is still pretty much alive here. There is G1 or Guardian's Imperium in front of them as well, so he might be sandwiched in the situation.
Looks like he is not long for this world. I don't think there is much he can do in this situation, being flanked from both sides and only for a tree for cover. And he's quite skinny, but they have chosen to leave him alone just for the moment. He hasn't medded up just yet, so that zone might even take him down if he doesn't have any meds on him. As we see more rotations coming in. It's been a quiet early game. That's kind of expected out of South America. We've got more gamers rotating in their UAZs. This car is probably the car of choice for rotating on this map. Lots of cover, lots of options now to push in through, as we see more teams coming down from hospital, from ruins as well, approach, but that's not coming in straight away. Another one of these rotators picked off.
Yep, they're coming in. This is where it happened yesterday. A lot of these teams had to fight, although they didn't want to, because they're converting from one direction. A lot of them were near school, near Rozok, and they had to kind of push in and from the southern side, so they kind of have to meet up with each other, and they had to fight.
That EEG player we saw earlier has been knocked out by the blue, so obviously did not have any meds left on them. As we see more knocks coming down. This is actually towards more center of the zone, as TD and DT are going at it. Lots of action going down now as the quarry seems to be the hotspot, the place to be. There's lots of action rotating around just west of Pachinki in that eastern side of the zone as they rotate through. Not many teams in the central position at the moment. There's lots of teams rotating. So much action willing to happen. There are a lot of hills and deflate around here they can play on, some windy roads too, as we see one of the Drunken Marine players get picked off by Nova. That's in your eastern corner. On board with TD at the moment. They have themselves the high ground above the quarry. Not a bad place to be right now.
Yep, I guess we're looking pretty okay here. Not a lot of action, and as you said, a lot of these South American teams want less action as they could. But Evo right now might be fighting with TS in this compound as they are coming in. A couple of pop shots, but nobody's dropped just yet.
Some more Drunken Marines going down, unfortunately for them. They did find themselves on the bad end of the rotations. This, as we said, on board with Team Solid at the moment. They've taken a little bit of a beating, but they still have lots of vehicles to rotate with and lots of compound presence as they might choose to evacuate this compound now. Knowing that's too close for comfort with that other team there.
Yep, they have 2 vehicles as well, so they can escape from here very, very fast. They can evade the fights if they want to, because especially that if you have 3 cars, it's very hard for them to spray you down in that 3 vehicles, because they have to kind of split their process around, kind of have to aim them one by one, so you can't really spray one car. So going with multiple cars is way, way safer.
Certainly makes it a lot more difficult to go as the circle has shifted towards the coast, so we might be going on the beach for day one as this buggy is going a bit airborne. Not the quickest way, most effective way to travel across land, but seems to be working for them as they're not going to get punished for any of the shenanigans in driving. As they try and find themselves one of the compounds closer to the beach, more of a waterfront view for them for now. Lots of teams rotating in that north side. We're going to see the action kick off fairly shortly as he parks the car inside the house. Don't know if you were invited in to do that, mate. Might leave some oil stains on the carpet. Very hard to get out.
And now they spray down. The play will be dropped here. Uzina, who will be dropped and will be finished off as well. That was really, really quick. Again, putting everybody in one car is very, very dangerous. Putting 2 in one is still dangerous either way.
It certainly is dangerous, and there's lots of danger approaching for these teams. As the circle shrinks, so does the playable area. There is still a tiny bit of water in there, so you expect the circle to shift up towards quarry, and this is 9K getting more knocks as we see come in on that kill feed. Lots of vehicles now in this area. Drove in through the garage, parked themselves under as that's B4 getting some knocks and a confirm actually. So 53 alive, 16 teams still kicking it. 14 minutes into the game, no team eliminated.
Yeah, this is kind of the pattern where South American teams play, because they play very passive very early on, so they try not to fight, but again they're trying to get into the circle very early on, so they kind of have to force their way into it. So this is what's happening right now to some of the teams, but again, if they can, they will evade. And BRK, Brazilian Killers, and they have found DRM. Drunken Masters are, Drunken Marines are still inside a compound here. They have the safety of it, but they are getting into the cars now and trying to evade this fight altogether.
Drunken Marines, of course, lost 2 players earlier on, as one of them is going to be lost now. One knock comes out, he's stuck in the blue. I don't think he's going to get revived at all. So Brazilian Killers moving in, picking themselves up a few kills. And that's good news for them, as Drunken Masters might be only down to 1 man. Marines, I should say. Falling for the same trick myself.
I knew it. So please win does it Dibia, I think, and back to I think it's Influence Rage, or I might be mistaken there. IN is hiding behind the tree lines, healing up, and a couple of teams right in front of him. This Team Solid, he has Guardians Imperium as well. very close towards them, right in front of them. So I think he has to be careful here in this situation.
Certainly do. Those trees aren't exactly the best cover, as you can get flanked from multiple angles by them. They're only good for one angle, really. But he's hidden out. He's got a flaming backpack on, so maybe they'll think there's a bit of a campfire going on.
Could be, but if he's flaming on, he has to run forward. Another spray down coming in. And it will be TS spraying, and again, they have gotten themselves into one compound. They're still playing it very safe here. Now they have to move, but they have multiple vehicles to do so, so they should be safer.
That's INSANOS actually eliminated in 16th place. Our first team of the day to go down. It's unfortunate, tough stuff for them as Brazilian Killers appearing in the kill feed again. Who would have expected them to be popping off so early in the day?
TS is getting shot at the drive-by here. 6-9 is very close towards them, but it's not fun. Who will be dropped from his car. It looks like Robson will stop here to try and support his teammate, but what can he really do in the situation? His teammate's right out in the open there.
Yeah, he's gone there. He's going to drop some smokes and try and get some sprays out to ward enemies off, but that is Brazilian Killers picking up the kill. But we have 6-9 on this compound as well. Team Solid, 6-9 in the same vicinity. I wouldn't want to be too close to 6-9, especially that bloke Pedro on your screen now. Most forward player. He has clutched up time and time again. Team Solid now down to 3 players. They won't be favoured in this engagement at all.
Yep, 9K coming in from behind very, very slowly, but yes, it's still looking towards the wrong direction because 9K is coming in from behind. They can be sandwiched here, but BRK is really, really far from them.
I've seen another team drop out. I believe that was INF, as Brazilian Killers are claiming more and more victims on that northern coast. It's quite tough stuff to get past the Brazilian Killers. They look on fire today. They've got probably so many kills. Their kill count would be incredibly high. Is there more kills coming after that Brazilian Killers lineup?
Yep, they're getting one by one. Everybody's just dropping like flies around the Brazilian Killers right now. But still, we're looking at 9K where they're still engaging towards CS, but they're playing it very, very safe here. I think, again, they do not want to try to fight or overstay their welcome here. So they're just trying to hide in this house. Both of the teams are just trying to hide in their houses and just not engage if they could.
It's Guardians Imperium might have just fallen down. The Killers there as they are rotating in thick and fast. One player trying to run down the mountain. You don't want to be doing that in open sight. They are rotating into the zone. They're coming from the northeast shot going there, hitting from 16, but it's not enough. As I said, Guardians Imperium falling out in 13th place. Not a great start to the day for them.
Yep. Again, just only 4 teams that have been dropped here. Kind of slow day for the South American teams, but hopefully it will catch up very, very soon. Because again, it looks like Robson wants to commit to this fight, but he's thinking about waiting for 9K to come out from the houses first. He has the nade in hand, just waiting for them to come out. It looks like Guardian has been shot a little bit. They're still hiding inside the houses, now trying to evade the fight altogether by going in from the backside.
This could be a present that they don't want. The grenade going in through the window. It's landed inside the house, but it hasn't managed to clean up anybody so far. There's a lot of players in one room at the moment there, but they have managed to use the walls for cover and gone out. They will have to move eventually. These players are not in the zone. And Team Solid is going to be waiting there with open arms. Brazilian Killers now rocking up to the pipe. They're pulling up to the rocks. Not a lot of cover around that area. There are 3 teams within Kui of each other.
Very, very close, but again, they do try not to fight it. They're just hiding behind the rocks for the meantime. BRK or Brazilian Killers does not want to commit too much to this fight because it might be sandwiched. So they have to 9K. They're getting sprayed by Robson a little bit, but Robson still hasn't had a straight-eye bird's eye view of the Brazilian Killers. And because of the smokes, he will be out the fight altogether here.
Brazilian Killers have actually found themselves in the perfect situation. The zone has shifted and they are gatekeeping essentially both of these teams. We see them getting into the cars for 6-9 as we see some third-person action right now, but it's not going to be enough to find a kill, not enough information. Shots rain out. That is 9K getting 1 player knocked early on.
They are actually outside the houses. Now they have to revert back or go back towards the house to try and fight back TS. But TS is just there making sure that nobody comes back in here, making sure that they get those kills. And slowly they're pushing back up. BRK is just running back up there. Spinning back. We want to fight this.
Brazilian Killers are actually on 7 kills already as they've found a nice angle onto the 9K squad. Obviously they've just taken themselves and put themselves prone. They've ducked down. As more shots rain out. That's from the top of the hill. That's cream onto Brazilian Killers. So Center B won't be too happy with wearing a few there. His helmet is getting quite low. There's more shots rain out. Cream on the top of the hill. They are getting pressured. But this is the big fight we want to be looking at right now. This is 9K, Brazilian Killers, and Team Solid all in the same area. Their knocks are flying around.
Here we go. Marisa gets dropped very, very fast here. Everyone's providing support, but he's all alone. He's left all alone in this situation. And he gets dropped as well. Brazilian Killers firing on all cylinders from very far away. TS still very much alive, but again, Murray's all that's left.
Murray's going to have to weave some magic here. Brazilian Killers, they're up to 9 or 10 kills already in this lobby. 26 still alive, so they could be headed for the biggest chicken dinner that I have seen. Bastardos still in the mix as well. Your team to watch, 6-9, Team Queso. They are the teams with 4 players remaining. But for how long will they be? Eagle Eye Gaming with that 1 player. Team Solid, as you mentioned before, with that 1 player. There's 3 players on Evo and Nova. So they're still in the competition well and truly. You'd think that Eagle Eye and Team Solid will just be playing for those positioning points at the moment, as 6-9 just get knocked one of their players, Bastardos, onto them. Brazilian Killers has got another knock. That is onto Bastardos. So at the moment, Brazilian Killers are the only team with 4 players up, 2 players on the floor for 6-9 and Bastardos respectively. As a Molotov goes out, he's thrown out a bit short.
They're pretty much safe here. BRK in a very good situation, like Leozin gets dropped from the Evo side. So BRK pushing in, they want to fight this straight away. They have vehicles as well. They can rotate back into the circle or get themselves in the middle, right smack in the middle of the circle. Although that's ill-advised, because if they get into the middle of the circle, they might get sandwiched here.
Certainly could be, as we see Bastardos picking up another kill. As Team Queso now putting some hurt onto Evo Esports, I believe that is. Team Queso, they managed to pick up those players as well on Bastardos and 6-9. So we are back to 4 players for 4 squads. Lots of room still in this circle, as we see it's shrinking moment by moment. That is a knock and a confirm onto Nova. They're down to 2.
Yeah, Evo's down in 2 as well, so they're in a lot of trouble here. Again, there's a lot of players right around them, so they have to be careful. That's why they're throwing out all the smoke to buy themselves some time. But again, they are out in the open and they are all alone here. Stuck right smack in the middle of everyone.
6-9 getting a knock onto the side of Bastardos, as Brazilian Killers answered with a team Queso knock themselves. These teams are still pretty far away from each other, so being able to confirm these knocks is a bit difficult at the moment. They will be
that, I think, because
revived.
every time they go in, they can get third party as well, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
Axial does get confirmed, so Team Queso drop a player. Their stranglehold on the game is being relinquished moment by moment. 6-9 only with the 1 kill. They've been very quiet so far in this game. Brazilian Killers have been the top killers. They were definitely in the double digits now. 5 kills for Bastardos. They are still in a good position here to maybe eke out a chicken dinner, another one, as they had a hot day yesterday. Looks like they're carrying on with another good performance here. That Team Solid player is lurking at the back of the Brazilian Killers squad. Can he play spoiler by maybe knocking 1 or 2 at an inopportune time? Unfortunately, no, as he goes down straight away. As I say that, I've cursed him. He has been knocked out into 8th place. Brazilian Killers claiming another victim.
Brazilian Killers just racking up points here, there, and everywhere, and Bastardos just pushing in as well. So they are having a little bit of a problem here because there are a couple of teams right above them, especially 6-9 and Nova, which is quite close to them as well. The rest of them, BRK, does have a line of view towards Bastardos, and because of it, they're kind of scared to converge onto 6-9. If they could, Bastardos could fight this off.
6-9 are sitting in the most high ground position at the moment. They're still in the circle too. Brazilian Killers is probably their biggest threat. There's lots of smokes pouring out in this stage of the game. There are a few players hidden in this little shack. The little shack could get breached very quickly. A spray down could be the name of the game. Brazilian Killers now pile on in fact. This is very aggressive from them.
But they got paralyzed and lost for win as well. Very, very fast in quick succession here. They answer back with a couple of kills of their own, but how can they do this? How can they survive this?
It's a 2-for-2 trade at the moment. Don't know who's going to come out on top. 6-9 are starting to confirm some of those knocks. B4 has heard this. That's Bastardos. They're pushing up the hill. They're looking for any blood that they can find. They're up to 5 kills, as mentioned. Team Queso also getting some players knocked down by the lone player from Eagle Eye Gaming. If this man goes around and pushes into that hut, that is 2 free kills he can confirm for himself. Can't quite find the information that he's needed though, so he's going to back her off.
Becker in a perfect position, as we said, to get those 2 kills, but again, not really committing here. They does not have a lot of information to go from, and Sanap, as you can see, very close to him as well. If he pops up here, Sanap can see him, so he does not want to overcommit in this situation. Sanap as well does not want to overcommit to this fight. So Becker just going to try and wiggle.
And that's Brazilian Killers out now. That's them gone. 6-9, they are bleeding out. They are down only to 1 player, or 2 players now alive. Nova have had 1 player knocked as well on the coast side of the map as they line up and take out another squad. We're down to the top 5. Bastardos in the commanding position as they still have 4 alive. There's Evo Esports taking out another Nova member. They are gone. Top 4 now. Bastardos in the driver's seat. It's all over but the crying for the rest, you'd think, as they're moving together as a squad quite efficiently. They are claiming kills as they go up to 8. Their chicken dinner could be quite healthy today as the 6-9 members are cowered away in this wood shack. If Bastardos find out where they are, it will be over very quickly for them. 3 kills onto Becker.
Yeah, hopefully they push in very soon, because I want to see some action here coming in.
That's a ghillie suit.
6-9 there in the hut, as you said, in the ghillie suit up on law. He could just really wiggle his way in towards the hut just to scare them off. It's going to pop up. He sees them, goes in for the fire.
Fire in. He does manage to knock 1. The second one is close by. They know he's there. He's going to push in, and that is 6-9 out in 4th place. Pedro couldn't complete the heroics of the clutches he has done before. And that is our top 3 now. 10 kills on the side of Bastardos, so they are continuing their domination of this South American region. As Law has a fresh level 3 helmet, fresh level 3 vest, the ghillie suit. He's got everything he could want to finish this game off. The spray comes in. That's the last player from Evil Gaming, I believe it is, or Evo Evolution. He's got 3 kills. He's done well for his team to get these placement points.
Yep, he's going to try and push in here. I think he wants to try and hide it. The best position for him to be is right here and just try to hide it off. But he wants to push in, try to get a couple of more kills here. I think he's playing it a little too aggressive against Bastardos. He wants to push in now. He reverts back to a more defensive position. Does not know about what to really do in this situation, because there's so many players right ahead of him. But as we said, Bastardos has the advantage that they have 4 men strong here, and they should be winning this fight altogether.
He's just looking for any knocks and confirms he can get for those extra points, but Bastardos have a nice spread here, covering a lot of crossfires, a lot of angles, as we see the players just snaking in towards the Team Queso players are getting shelled out pretty heavy at the moment. Law goes down. He was full of level 3s. Team Queso still have some fight left in them, as we see Marco hiding out. He's only got 1 kill to his name. His legs are in the zone, but that's not what takes damage as his torso enters. Starts to take a tick or 2. Team Queso have had a decent run. Taylor ends up. He's got a ghillie of his own. Spamming out that corner with that silence. Throws up. Does so much damage if those shots do land. Nade comes out. Using a nade this late in the game can be quite good, as he's going to rotate it. No, he's throwing it right into a wall. And Evo actually does get a shot. A knock onto Bastardos, sorry, so that leaves them a little bit more confident than like. Spray comes around, won't catch anything. Brazilian Killers already. Bastardos already there to trade, and they do clean up the game. Team Queso goes out in 2nd, so a decent performance from them, but it is all Bastardos all day as they clean a 12-kill chicken dinner to start our day. Well played from them. Brazilian Killers, they were fragging out very hard all game, but didn't manage to make it into the top 5, so they're losing out on a few placement points there. Team 6-9, they had decent placement, but not enough kills.
Again, we were talking about Brazilian players very early on. They got a lot of kills, but again, they can't convert. That's really the problem there. I think Bastardos again playing it fantastically. They had 4 players strong. They played by the side of the hill, waited for their time to pounce, and just waited for the other team to kind of fight against each other, and they just went in at the opportune time. Especially Team Queso, they just kind of had to push there. They kind of went in all guns blazing, and then they had the ghillie suit on Ayala, if I'm not mistaken. So tried to go in with the goes up and going for the spray down, but did not get them because all 4 of them were standing out, and he got sprayed down instead.
Yeah, I think the defining moment of that game was when Brazilian Killers compound crashed 6-9 and Team Bastardos were on the low ground. They heard all the action, they pushed up and they claimed themselves a few kills, and they ended up knocking out Brazilian Killers, who were the team on fire, but that compound crash was ill-advised from Brazilian Killers. Sealed their fate in that game 1 on Erangel. It's in the books. Bastardos increasing their point lead. Unfortunately, some of those lower end teams did get knocked out pretty early. So they're going to need to turn their fortunes around on Vikendi. Do you think that there's an upset potential on that Vikendi map that is coming up?
Especially that I do think that there might be an upset especially because this is the first time they're playing on this map. So a lot of these teams cannot gauge each other just yet. This is the first time they're playing, so this is their kind of like virgins in this map. Just trying it out for the first time and then just seeing what their opponents can do. So they can't really build up a pattern on how to play just yet. They need to get a little bit more information. So I think there's a possible upset coming in.
Yeah, the opportunity to throw some curveballs out as well. Maybe hot drops drop some teams that don't expect it. We see a lot of passive play in the South American region. Maybe some hot drops are in order to spice things up. That's a big game though from Bastardos. They're just going to motor ahead of the pack. They were already ahead, and we can see a 32 kill point chicken dinner for them. Team Queso clean up second place with 5 kill points, 14 placement points, but equaling them was Brazilian Killers with 13 kills, only 6 placement points, so still 19 points for them. So maybe Bastardos won't rocket away like we thought. 6-9, Team Solid and Eagle Eye Gaming rounding out the top 8 for the first game. Any surprises there? Maybe Team Solid pulling out a decent game to start the day.
Yeah, I think Team Solid is the one that kind of pops up because I kind of talked about them a little bit here, but look at number 16, the INSANOS dropped very early on, only 1 point for them. They still follow suit as well because they still got themselves the winner chicken dinner yesterday. But today is not their day, or at least this game hasn't been their game. Team Esports follows up as well, influence range, all of them just getting very, very, very low points.
INSANOS started the day in 29th place, and that's where they will remain with only 1 point to claim from that game. As we see Bastardos increasing the point lead, they have cracked the 3 digits, 45 kill points, 62 place points, leaves them 107 overall. Brazilian Killers still with 42 kill points, they're not too far behind Bastardos. 6-9, they stay in 3rd place, Nova moving up the ranks just a bit. But we can see all of these teams have played 5 games except for Ace 1, who are the bottom, or the top of the 4-game players so far.
Yeah, but I think the surprise there is Nova Esports South America. Although they didn't get away, that's how winner chicken dinner, they did fantastically well to get into the top 8 scoreboard.
You can see Team Solid moving out of the relegation zone. This is the relegation zone now that we are viewing. Drunken Masters not doing enough to get out of there just yet. Same with Cream. Was the top killers. Law finds himself on the list. Mitek from Brazilian Killers. Team Queso, sorry, Aya is up there as well.
Yep, Law has been playing fantastically since yesterday, so he's finding his groove right now, and especially going back to Erangel, which is a map that they played for the 3rd time today. So I think it should be very good for him to find his groove back before he goes into Vikendi, which will be a kind of a different map for him to play.
Yeah, Vikendi is certainly a different pace of game. Last night in the wildcard, we saw it go all the way down to the final circle heel off. Hopefully we have another game just as thrilling as that on Vikendi. I'm excited to see if there's any SMG rushes, if there's any big sniper shots on Vikendi. It is a bit of a highlight reel play. Also the snowmobiles in place, they're very cute and make a different sort of sound when they're rotating through.
Yep, so hopefully we can see somebody just flying around, just flying with the snowmobile and then just getting sniped while he's driving. So that would be fun to watch as well.
Certainly will be fun to watch, and if you are willing to watch that, you stay tuned. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Vikendi just after this.
Up in Georgia Pool, so you're in a pretty good position.
Oh, there's 4 players underneath Dark right now.
It's gonna be
They're
rush.
waiting for him. Dark is going to get rushed upon, but he's managing to get maybe.
PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Anytime, anywhere. There is a better choice. Team Deathmatch. A quick game for those short breaks. There is a better choice. PUBG Mobile Team Deathmatch. Endless respawn, endless fun. There is a better choice.
Welcome back to the PMCO Fall Split. You found yourself in the South American region, and PubgDaZueira are continuing where they left off last night, claiming a chicken dinner. If you missed out on that game, check it out on the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. And if you want to try to get yourself a chicken dinner, you can download the game for free on the App Store, the iOS App Store, or the Google Play, depending on your device. Top killers in that game, Brazilian killers. Top placer, PubgDaZueira.
Yep.
Seems like a regular day in South American PUBG, doesn't it?
Yep, it's something that we thought it was going to happen, right? Brazilian killers getting a lot of kills, and then PubgDaZueira playing it more consistently towards the end of it to get more placements. I think that's exactly what we thought was going to happen, and it really did happen. So it was really fun to watch, but PubgDaZueira, though, can they keep the momentum up here in Vikendi? That's the question I think is on everybody's mind.
Certainly is. Team Queso, also another powerhouse from the South American region, finishing off pretty strong, 6-9 up on the top as well. So it is the top teams continuing to dominate in the South American region. The bottom teams still struggling a little bit. INSANOS were in 29th place start of the day, as I mentioned before, going out in 16th in game 1. So they need to put their boots on and start getting a bit more depth into their game, ending up in these late game circles, really giving themselves a chance to get the maximum amount of points. Vikendi does give them that opportunity though. It's a new style of map, really, new pace maybe. Yep. And maybe we can get some wacky circles going on. We saw a lot of strange circles so far in the PMCO Fall Split.
Yeah.
Have you seen any strange circles? What's the strangest circle you've seen so far on broadcast?
Really strange, I think, but we've seen a lot of water circles that's really painful because a lot of the teams just kind of had a small place to kind of converge on, and then a lot of it was on Erangel. We got military base ending twice, I think, in a row.
Twice in a row?
That's something else, right?
That is pretty crazy. There's pretty low chances of that one happening, so they always make for entertaining games, those military base circles, or even the islands on Miramar, the far eastern islands. They're always the most fun for me. Teams trying to struggle, get up the beaches and into the compounds as quickly as they possibly can, but Vikendi, not that many islands on there, not at all. It's basically just a giant icy wasteland. There is Mount Kresnik though, which can be lending itself to some interesting finishes. Is trying to scale that mountain in the late games. Team's already up on the top, you need to use your smokes pretty effectively. Vikendi, one of my favourite maps to spectate just because of those long distance duels. You really see the players think things out and try and outmaneuver their opponents and rotate in. There is a lot of space to work with.
I think that's fun to watch as well, because I want to gauge, or I want to see myself how the South American plays the Vikendi map, because usually when we see the other regions, they're like the Middle Eastern regions, they are way stronger on Sandhawk. On Vikendi, they are way less experienced. So I hope to see the South Americans just firing on all cylinders, so we get to see a lot of action very early on.
Hopefully we do see a lot more action early on out of the South American region. One of the things to bring up is today we had, at the start of this broadcast, we had 5 of the top 6 teams in the lobby. So Brazilian Killers and Team PubgDaZueira, they proved that they're not just pub stompers, they are matching the best of the best. You know, the top 5 talent in the region, you would say, in this lobby. That's good signs out of these two teams. They are premiership teams. They are beating premier teams. They're beating the best of the best to make it through these qualifiers. So if they're able to do that in this early on group stages, it sets a good tone for the rest of the tournament. You would expect them to see them in the top 16 teams. Yeah,
especially that, because they have to fight against each other, right? That's the point of this A and C groups, is that they have to fight against each other, and then we have to gauge how good, or they have to gauge how good each other are, and then they have to battle it out. So that's fun to watch as well. But PubgDaZueira, though, getting, I think they flanked Brazilian Killers a couple of times.
Yeah.
So they got, you know that they like to fight. So they go for those fights, even though it's a big name like Brazilian Killers, they don't give a damn, they just go for it.
And they certainly are not afraid of anybody. It's getting to that time where Vikendi is closing in on us. I'm excited to see what's going on in this map. I can't wait to see just how the circle plays out, how teams rotate. It's always such a fascinating thing when a new map is added to the map pool, or new introduction of any sort of mechanics, say with car or anything like that. It's always interesting how the players do use it and use the rotations quite wisely. There's also the Cosmodrome up in the northeastern corner of the map. That's another interesting place to end the zone. Cement Factory, another one. Lots of big things to play around, big silos and such. Lots of high ground, low ground, as piles of rubble and debris. What other interesting places are in Vikendi? The Dino Park springs to mind.
I think whatever it is, that suit that we saw in the first game, right? The mummy suit.
The mummy suit, yes.
That would be very useful on this map.
Yeah, hiding out in the snow, there are a lot of pristine white cosmetics that you can equip, and maybe play spoiler hiding in the snow for quite a while. It's quite difficult to pick up those player models when they are using those white cosmetics.
Yep, easier for you to hide around and kind of just prone, just wait for your time to pounce. So that will be fun to watch as well if any of the teams pick up or use that strategy. So hopefully we see some of that as well. But I think Vikendi will be very, very surprising because I think a couple of these teams that are at the lower side or at the lower side of the table might be catching back up here, because this is a map where they don't have to meet up very, very soon, because although the map is small, but they have a lot of towns, so they don't have to meet up with anybody anytime soon, and then they can just slowly creep in to get better placements.
Certainly have opportunities to get their loot and get underway. It is important for those lower teams to get looted out just as much as the big teams. It really takes away a level from the game, but if they can manage to get all that loot up, get all those grenades, and then they can start to use them effectively, it really does even the playing field just a little bit. We saw a lot of top of the top players there running around with level 3s on at the end of the day.
Yep.
Level 3 helmet, level 3 vest, ghillie suit on, equipped. Ghillie suit is another thing on this map. There is the white ghillie suit available, the snowy ghillie suit. That's a fun item to pick up and play with. Do you think the crates are being underutilized in this PUBG tournament?
Not by the South American especially, because the South Americans are very good at taking those crates, especially because they drop a couple of smokes first before they go for it, before they commit towards it. So that's very good to watch as well.
As we see Vikendi, the map, the beautiful map that is. If you are a fan of snow, you will be a fan of this map, as we have the plane going through now. Looks like it's a coastal-based plane. Maybe not a lot on option. The plane is being spray painted at the moment by the players. Looks like an interesting one. It is another plane that cuts off a lot of the map. This is a really rough one. This is going from about central east down to the southwest of the map. So there's a lot of things in play still, but there is a lot not in play. As we see, the top side of the map will be pretty hard to get to. It is a smaller map. It's not the biggest size map. It's more of a medium-sized map.
I think the rotation, again, as it happens at Erangel, then I think a lot of these teams will have to converge onto one place where they kind of have to fight because of the way the flight path is taking its toll on them. And again, we land on the very edge of the map, so this is really, really hard.
It is landing on the edge of the map. The plane path is pushing through, as we see him on board with Team Queso as they start to parachute down. This is a loot zone that they are. We see the white cosmetics is equipped on this player already. Oh yeah, one of our kill leaders, Baylor. They are enjoying themselves in this tournament so far. Brazilian killers on board with them now as they parachute down. They have not chosen to use the cosmetics that match the environment.
Yep, following Team Creams, it looks like Bastardos have found themselves along with the Creams Bad Bunny. So I think, again, they want to try to evade the fights very early on, but this is the type of map where you can evade because there's so many towns here. You can go anywhere that you want, loot it up, and then just not fight anybody or not see anybody for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that is true. We are on board with Cream at the moment as they are slowly looting their way up. Bad Bunny from them had a beautiful play on the first day of the South American region. They had a 1v3 clutch to save their squad on Erangel. Highlight sticks with me. As we see 6ix9ine looting up, but they are joined by another team in their town. It looks like there's already been some damage traded out, but this might be 6ix9ine repeating what they did on the previous map of just trying to avoid the fights and getting out of there pretty quick smart.
Yeah, they have the vehicle as well, so they could do that, but again, they don't have the information just yet. They're waiting for a couple of displays to just kind of pop up, and then they kind of get or gauge how they want to play this fight. But it looks like, as you said, they're just kind of bailing out of there very, very fast.
Yeah, they were one of the squads that ended up in the final circles of the last game. As we see squads now getting back on top of each other. This one player here is isolated, being chased around. Will he get taken down? He's managed to get onto the top floor of the building. Managed to get a machete kill, actually, a machete knock, as he was swinging for the fences there, but he will go down. That play won't be confirmed. Unfortunately, the first knock of our game, INF having one player knocked down, but a bit embarrassing to get knocked out by a machete as you're chasing a solo player.
Yep, very, very embarrassing indeed. But either way, he landed where the opponents are, and then he really couldn't do anything about it, really couldn't loot up, and then he had only the machete. So it was donezo for him. Either way, TS looks very happy here, looting up, nobody close by as well. So again, there's a lot of towns in this map, so they don't have to meet with each other anytime soon, but if they do, they don't have to take the fight as well. They can just escape. So this is the type of options that is available on this map. It kind of promotes you to kind of escape first and then just kind of fight in the middle of the game.
I believe that was Influence Rage losing the first player of the game, as we saw Team Solid in the Cosmodrome hanging out. This is on board with our current leaders, Bastardos. They're driving around. They've got a player in the water having a bit of a dip. So they're chilling out, taking it a bit easy in the second game of the day. After this, we will reach the halfway point for most of the, well, for all of these teams, as they would have completed 6 games. We'll get a better idea of how they're going. It's Cream rotating on the north of your screen at the moment. Seem to be well away from any of the action.
Yeah, again, they're just playing it very, very safe now. Even Guardians Imperium are just having a time of their life. But a lot of these teams, you can see there's no stacks up or no stacking of a couple of teams into one place. A lot of them are just spread apart, just spread around, and as you said, they're thinning it out. They're thinning it out around the map so they don't have to meet each other anytime soon.
You see the circle did shift north, or it's more west. It's not really northwest, it's just more central west. A lot of teams with a lot of area to rotate into. That plane path wasn't too friendly for this circle, as the plane didn't cross into this circle one bit. So pretty much every team is going to have to rotate. As we saw 6-9 rotating earlier, they still are on their way. They aren't looted that well. With player on board now, has lots of meds, got some level 3 vest, level 2 helmet, so he's got some pretty decent gear. Don't know what weapons he's got though. As we see more rotators going through the snowfields, it can be quite dangerous to go through these fields in the later stages of the game. Right now, there wouldn't be too many teams around them, so they'll fancy themselves as safe.
Yeah, I expect this to be how this map goes on for a while at least, that a lot of these teams are going to play it very passive and just not meet up with each other. They know that they can fight because they have a couple of times that they have looted up, especially Evo, as you can see. But they really, again, they do not have to fight, and they'd rather evade this fight altogether, because we did see yesterday, again, these South American teams, very methodical in their approach towards the game, very technical as well, and especially their individual skills with using their utilities. So they played it very, very slow, and then just kind of explode towards the end of the game, as we see yesterday and today, especially with Bastardos winning that last game against Brazilian Killers.
They certainly did win that last game, and they had a very confident finish to the game as well, ending with 4 players up, if I am not mistaken. That's one way to start the day, though. It's getting a chicken dinner with all 4 alive. And there's still no team to win 4 chicken dinners yet, so they haven't fed the whole family.
That's very, very true. I think only Brazilian Killers had... No,
6-9 has 2.
6-9 has 2.
I believe have 2 on the side of the Stardust 2 as well now. Do I have 2 or do I have 3?
I think.
No, 2 or 3. They'll have a few.
Yep, they have a couple at least. So that's in the books for them. But Stardust looking very, very good here. But in this map, it could be a different story altogether, because again, it doesn't promote that fight very early on. But in the mid game, it kind of gets very explosive for a lot of these teams, because they kind of made up with an open area where it's all white, as you can see, and a lot of these teams will be exposed out in the open, and if they don't have any vehicles, they could be in a lot of trouble here while they're rotating back into the circle.
Going to be spread out over those vehicles too. There's no use rotating all in one vehicle. The downside of the snowmobile on this map, it is not a lot of cover in it, as we can see one going through our screen right now. It is pretty quick on that snow. That's an advantage, but the disadvantage is it's open. You can see it not coming out. That is Green on their rotation, getting picked off. One of their players, it is the Bunny, who's found themselves on the floor in the snow. It's not where you want to be. They are knocked and confirmed, thirsted by the side of PD, who have been camping out in this house for quite a while now. They've fancied their location as they move over to collect their winnings.
Yep, nicely done from them so far. But again, it turns back very quietly straight away after that fight. So again, these teams are not looking for fights early on. If you're thinking, well, why are they fighting? Is it because they'd rather loot up first? Because this is kind of a smaller map, but they have a lot of towns. So you have the opportunity to loot up first very early on, stack up on those items, make sure that you have all the med kits and all the first aids in the world to make sure that when you get into the middle game, you can fight them off properly. But right now it looks like INF will be meeting up with TS very, very soon.
INF only down to 3 players as TS is pulling up on them. Team Solid, they were in the Cosmodrome, they looted up there, so they're going to have lots of loot available as we see players pushing forward. That is more gunfire firing out. That is half of INF already knocked out. That is Influence Rage, I believe, that are taking a beating here on the map of Vikendi. Not starting the way they would like to at all.
just a couple of players that's been lost so far in this game. At least that's what, 8 players being lost. Or my math is off. That's
I
6.
think it's 4 or 6 players that have been
Yep.
lost now. PD
Kind
getting
of just
himself second kill.
single and not double kills. So again, just kind of loose players which are scouts. I think they kind of separate from the team to kind of get information. So those are the players that is getting killed right now.
Yeah, the scouts are getting picked off. Only Influence Rage, the team that has lost multiple members, as both of those times they've been individuals lost too, so they were scouting and or rotating. We have more action of scouting and moving. Team Queso, I believe that is, on the road, using the roads efficiently, so taxpayers' money going to work.
That's it. They have 2 cars as well, so they're playing it a little bit safer here. Again, we're talking about cars as well. Forget that thought as Kevin gets shot a little bit here. Should be safe as he's driving very, very fast here.
Doing the shuffle too.
Left and right and wiggling his way off to safety, and we'll be able to get into that safety zone for the meantime.
Team Solid have crashed themselves into the center of the circle. They are smack bang in the center. Goroka is probably the more focal point town, just south of there, the ice field that is in play. That is not a lot of cover there. There is a few wooden shacks on that icy lake that has frozen over. You have lots of teams moving up. Dino Park still in play. 9K are hanging around to the north of that.
Right behind the tree line will be shot upon, and Robson will drop. He only drops one guy, and Ali will be able to be picked up by Shrek. So nothing lost here from the Evo squad.
Evo Esports had a decent game 1 where they placed pretty high. Didn't have the most amount of kills, but they managed to snake their way into a top 5 finish. So well done from them in the previous game. So they've continuing on, found themselves a kill, defended their compound. The scout from Team Solid goes down pretty quickly with no answer. He did manage to get a knock, which is annoying, but doesn't end up meaning much at the end of the day, as we see a vehicle being refueled there. Pretty tricky stuff, how you can refuel the vehicle while you're on it.
Kind of fake a little bit. I don't believe that you can do that. That's kind of dangerous, right?
You'd have to be pretty magical to pull it off.
I think you're just kind of asking for danger there if you kind of do that in real life. So don't do that in real life.
No, if you are using a snowmobile, do not try and refuel it while you are on it, and do not try and refuel it while it is on. That is asking for trouble, as we are on board with Drunken Marines, who have had a rough start to the tournament. Last game they did go out pretty early as well. They got a few kills to their name, but not enough to write home about, as the circle does shrink once more. There's still lots of water in play. Goroka's icy lakes are not center enough, you'd think, to be part of the end zone. Dino Park has been ruled out. There's lots of teams now in the circle. We're going to start to see action kicking off. On our screens, we have our current leaders in Bastardos getting a early knock. Will they be able to push in and take advantage of it, though? That is the question. Looks like they are getting in the vehicles and moving themselves into safer positions. They found themselves a loot box in the middle of nowhere, so that's always handy-dandy.
Yep, they're back to hopeful ways, Bastardos. Again, they started fantastically in the first game. I hope they could bring it in the second game. We're looking at Brazilian Killers right now, although they kind of got lost a little bit in the middle stages of the game last time around. But I think this time, maybe on Vikendi, they have some tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, they're playing a lot more passive a game. Last game we saw about this time they started to kick things off. It is 12 minutes into the game. No squad has gone down yet. Typical South American mobile PUBG in action of a bit passive. Just waiting for the correct opportunities and not rushing things, not taking too many risks. No squad eliminated. Everyone giving themselves the best opportunity to get into those late game circles and make some big plays, as we see here Bastardos in their compound moving around. Frequently moving around, nobody alt-tabbing, nobody checking Facebook messages or anything like that, so that's good to see.
When you're in the battlefield, better not check your Facebook messages. I think that's the rule of thumb, I think, for a lot of these players.
No, you don't want to be caught with your pants down, not playing the game. You want to be ready for action at any moment, because those compound crashes could come in fast and hot at any second. Some more beautiful scenic shots of Vikendi. I've never seen snow, actually. Never been to the snow.
Not in my country, no. We do. No. It's only hot, and just hot.
Yeah, same for Australia, mate. It's not much snow there. On the eastern coast, you can sometimes get some, but I've never seen it, unfortunately. So maybe I need a holiday to Vikendi.
We both do. I want to see it soon myself as well.
This isn't snow material right now, though. That is not snow attire at all, as they would be freezing their legs off at that point. This is the side of, I believe, DT, just hanging out. They've only got 3 players in the lobby for them, so quite unfortunate for them. Nova, just chilling out at the moment. Maybe having a good conversation, good yarn about something.
Yeah, Mufasa played fantastically yesterday. There was a lot of times where he got sieged upon because he's the scout for the team.
Okay.
And he played fantastically yesterday as well. He just got getting a couple of kills. Always playing where the positioning is always where you don't expect him to be at. Sometimes he's across the road. Sometimes he's in the other house. So when this team gets sieged upon, he's there to provide a lot of information. And just going to play whoever comes in to try and take down his team.
So Mufasa may be a player to watch out for from this Nova squad. He has got a level 3 vest on. He is refueling vehicle inside again, so seems to be a common theme with these players. Obviously, you actually can't refuel the vehicle outside. You have to get inside the vehicle to refuel it. I'm not silly, I know that, but it's just a bit comical to watch.
Very comical to watch, very weird as well. Especially for an Asian like me, I think we don't refuel our cars at all. We let our fathers do it, so I don't know how it's done.
It's not too difficult, mate. You'll learn it. It's easy peasy. As we see Nova just kind of hanging out still. There's still another western shift. There's still water in play at the moment. This is going to the coast. We saw a western coast finish on Erangel too, so the west is best is the motto for the day. Goroka completely out of the picture now. Lots of movement towards the center of the circle. We can see on the map on our screens as more players get rotated on. INF, they're only down to 2, so they're just, well, down to 1 in fact, so these are just some warning shots. He's going to be looking for as many placement points as he can get. He's got a fancy level 3 helmet on, but it has been tickled a little bit.
This is the thing with this map though, it's very hard for you to prone because it's very easy to see you. And there's not a lot of grass to cover your butt anyway, so it's kind of easy for you to get spotted out. So a lot of the other games that we saw, Erangel and such, it's very easy for you to prone around and get yourself into that circle, even though you've lost a lot of players.
So seeing knockback down, GI onto DT. There is lots of action going on here. This is maybe our first squad wipes. DT are taking a few blows. They are down to only 2 members alive, and they are going to go for that revive. One nade could seal the deal here as one player is on half HP. Hearing the footsteps come out on this flank on the right hand side. The spray goes out. They know they've got that knock, so they can push advantage. Another knock comes out. Almost a full squad wipe. Only 1 player remaining as we push around the corner. It is out. DT in 16th place, last for this game. GI, importantly, that is disturbed out. GI don't lose a player in that engagement, so not anyone knocked, not anyone finished for them. So well done. They're going to collect themselves 3 kills and move on.
Yeah, Disturbed though, they played fantastically yesterday. They got 1 winning second inning, but they couldn't play it consistently. So I kind of expect them to have a better day today. But unfortunately, again, going out in the last place is not something that you would like to happen. But they was, I think, on the top 6. But right now, it could shift, I think, in terms of rankings.
Yeah, if you are in that top 6, you would consider yourself pretty safe at the moment. 5 games in and done for these teams playing at the moment. Match 2 of the day being brought to you on Vikendi. As we see Cream hiding out in the building. They are only 3 players strong as they had a player knocked out pretty early in the piece on their rotation. That was Bad Bunny, one of their star players. There's more beautiful scenic shots of Vikendi. Do you think it's winter all round in this place?
I think this place is...
I don't think it has a summer.
I don't think so as well, because it doesn't seem like there's any way or any real place that is summerish, I would say.
No,
right?
I've never seen summer in Vikendi, but maybe we just catch it at the wrong time of year every time.
Maybe because it's the fall season in the split, so I think it's not.
Yeah, it could be. When we see the snow falling on your screen now, Myth from 6-9 hiding out. They've had a decent day of it. As you see, Nova getting a knock onto Team Queso, actually. So that's a pretty short-range knock if it is that G36. That gun, not the best at long range, not the best assault rifle at long range, I should say, but still gets the job done most of the time. Lots of trees in the picture, as you can see. See, these trees become difficult in the late game because they only really block you off from one angle if you are hiding behind them. So you have to be very careful of which angle that is being blocked off, as we see a more northern shift in this circle. So there's no real towns left. No real buildings or compounds. There is a few little ones, but nothing really to write home about. Nothing you'd want to live in. Lots of
Definitely
teams that need to rotate in from that southern side still.
Things are slowing down a little, but maybe the fight because EGG is here. They want to push this team, and it looks like they might be in a lot of trouble because Cream is right above it in the second floor. He's going to throw out a net. He's actually right there, but he's going to re-molly by Pedrin here. And the molly does not connect, the net does not connect either from Red.
We saw Influence Rage actually getting dropped out there, last player going down into 15th place. So we're down 2 teams already, we've lost 2. They're going to be taking a bit of a break, a bit of an elongated break, a bit longer than they'd like. This is the Cream and the... I believe it's the EEG fight, actually, Eagle Eye Gaming. They are moving around the outside of this compound. Cream only 3 strong, as we mentioned earlier. So 1 knock onto them could spell rush time, as the players do a pretty good job of keeping track of what teams have had players knocked. More nades kind of raining out as Team Queso onto Evo in the northern side of the circle, I believe, or the more central side of the circle.
This is a very, very long engagement for EG indeed. They're taking their time right now, but CRM, Cream, I think Luis is a little bit further behind them, so I think he can't really provide much in terms of help. He's on top of the house there, but again, he's not in the position to really help them if they get engaged upon inside this small house.
We saw in the kill feed there, Team Queso getting all 4 of the Evo players, so they are out, they are donezo for the, well, for this map at least. They've still got 2 more in the day to play. This fight is going on for a little bit longer than expected. These 2 teams are on the very edge of the circle, so they don't need to move just yet, but as we see more aggression coming out, they push in, they're getting sprayed down. Cream have answered, but they have had 1 player knock themselves. Cream now pushing in, they found another. This is who's going to win this gunfight. The assault rifle does win out. That's 2 Cream players on the deck. EEG still with 3 up. None of the players been thirsted just yet. One of the Cream players does go down. It is 1 man remaining in the warehouse. He's sitting on the roof, watching it all go down. He'll be pretty sad to see his friends go, but he needs to stay safe for his team's sake. There's no use throwing your life away at the moment, son. He's in a place where it'll be very difficult for the spot. The central circle shift comes in. Only a handful of teams in the middle of that. Lots of teams on that southern edge, as you can see, where we are following the action. EEG might just choose to rotate away from this fight. Chasing that last lone player might be a bit more trouble than it's worth. Just finding a spot inside the zone is often the way to go. This lone player is worth 1 point. Getting center in the circle could be worth a chicken dinner.
Yep, I think hopefully that Luis can get himself into the circle, but he has no vehicles right now. That could be a problem. Maybe he has one hidden away. So he was there at top of the, I think it's a barn or a factory, but the problem is, again, if that house gets sieged, oh, he does have a car, so that's very good, but if the house does get sieged, there's no real way for him to help his teammates, so that's exactly what happened right there.
It certainly is, and this is EEG onto PD as they've compound crashed. They've moved from one fight to the next. This is on board with Team Solid as they've found themselves in a gunfight of their own, pushing around the corner. I don't know if this is going to be a fight that you want to be taking too quickly. This is risky stuff. One of the players from TS has already been knocked out and thirsty.
Yep, Kevin seems like he's a little bit uncertain to take this fight or not. They're getting smoked off, I think.
They are versing the INSANOS squad that can't afford to go out in another low place, as PD, I believe, getting eliminated now. Yeah, that was another squad knocked out or damaged by Eagle Eye Gaming, so they found themselves with some good rotations and some good kills already.
Fairly nice for them, but again, these are the fights that are taking a little bit too long right now. They are still outside of the circle. And the circle's going to clear right now.
Spotted.
Yep, China has been knocked here. TS still 3 men strong. They can just push for this kill. They want to maybe take the fight to IND or IN, but it looks like the net will not connect for them this time. Oh, he does connect.
Actually.
Murray gets dropped. Sentry wants to push in for the fight, but can he really do this?
He's thinking about getting his mate up or making the decision to push in. He does go in the cover of the smoke. He has a friend with him. This is Team INSANOS. They need these kills desperately. There's only one player alive on Team INSANOS. Another player knocked. This could be a spell the end for them, and another poor finish would be not the way to start the day, as they are only just inside the circle and the one player getting rezzed. So this will be 2 for INSANOS up. This fight costing a lot though, a lot of meds being spent, a lot of time being spent too, as you can see the blue encroaching Nade cooked in the arm. This is going to have to be a big one to turn this fight for him. He does get the knock, the re-knock onto the player from TS, but it's not enough to finish him off.
Tenchi actually got a knock on the other side. It's actually on Murray again. So a couple of players getting knocked here or getting damaged. It looks like they can converge on this place if they want to fight it, but they're thinking twice or they're healing up first before they take this fight.
Well, they're nowhere near the next circle, so really they need to win this fight. One of these teams needs to win the fight soon, otherwise they're just hindering each other. As one of the Brazilian Killers does get knocked out by the play zone, it's getting quite risky on the side. That's 6ix9ine and Brazilian Killers going at it on the western side of the circle. They are getting into it, and that's Brazilian Killers actually knocked out, completely finished by 6ix9ine. So a rare mistake from Brazilian Killers, as we see now 6ix9ine getting laid in upon by EEG and another squad in that area. So we could see some of our top teams bowing out pretty early.
GI is getting in trouble as well. Might get something here. Let's find another team. They want to spray them down, but it looks like they will be able to escape out through here. Shots in, but will not be able to drop anybody there.
That's one of the INS players getting dropped by the play zone. Marie getting taken out. They're trying to compound crash in here, but that is TD trying to compound crash. That is not exactly what they want at the moment. They do get one knock. This is Team Queso on board with them versus Brazilian, not Brazilian Killer, sorry, the Bastardos. His star player can't get out the window. He falls into his teammate's arms. Actually the man to knock him, so only one player up for Team Queso. He's going to have to do a bit of a recovery mission here to either get players up or play for some points of the ranking points, not the kill points, obviously, as Pedro is still up for the side of 6ix9ine Esports, so anything's possible when Pedro's up and about.
Law has been picked up as well for the side of Bastardos. I think they can push this off if they want to, but they do not know or do not have any information about whether TKSO has picked up their teammate or not, and that's exactly what's happening right now. So when they start sieging, it will be a 4v3 situation.
Eagle Eye Gaming down to one player. They have two players knocked out at the moment, able to be revived, but not sure the situation at the moment they are found themselves in, as one of those players does go down, I believe. Nova and Bastardos are the only teams with 4 alive, so they're in the driving seat right now. Bastardos are being set upon by Team Queso, who have 3, and a pesky Team Solid player on the outskirts, hearing it all happen, listening in. China goes down once more, and I believe that's the end of his day on Vikendi. 6ix9ine Esports, only 2 alive. So the top team is still in the lobby at the moment, or thereabouts, minus Brazilian Killers. They aren't with their full complement of teams. As we see the circle shift, it is going western. Pedro putting some more kills in. Oh, sorry, 9 kills into Pedro. Yeah, he's finished off.
Bastardos wants to go in for the fight here. Marcus needs to charge. They will be able to take down one player. At least Ayala gets taken out. And we finished off by the play zone instead. Mistake still up on the second floor. They want to push him out. It's Law, who is the top fragger for Bastardos team. Mistake gets shot for a little bit. He's knocked down. He will be taken out as well. Finished off maybe, and he will be finished off, leaving Team Queso with only one player here.
It's not the start, well, not the start of the fight that they would have liked there, with their top fragger getting knocked out in Aya. But Law is alive, and he's still kicking, still able to claim the top fragger spot in this match. Only 1 kill for him at the moment, but I'm sure he'll remedy that soon, as the last player from Team Queso does get found by GI. That will be him going out. As a compound crash, well, a crash comes in from Bastardos. They are making the most of this. It's a bit messy. The gunfight though might favour them, as they're mechanically gifted, but a drop shot comes in, and that's another Bastardos player taking down 9K, getting the better of Bastardos in that moment. As 6ix9ine actually go down, the man jumped off a cliff or jumped out of a car, and that will spell the end of Vikendi for them.
9K in the front position, Becker as well. Becker does see them. He wants to take this fight as well, but he's getting flanked from the Imperium team, so he has to be careful in this position. He's going to get sandwiched very, very soon. He's left with Law as well, but Law is a little bit to the side here. Becker is quite exposed in this position.
Law looks to be pinned down and proned out at the moment, just behind a tent. As the nade comes through, it does a bit of half damage to Law. Law is burning actually in that fire. He doesn't choose to move. It was actually TS burning in that fire, so my mistake.
getting flanked around from behind. He's getting sandwiched here.
First.
He has to kind of choose which one to fight. He will be able to take down Asmi. And aimbot's right in front of him. He's getting shot from the sides as well. He's going to try and eat the blue a little bit to try and rotate around his players. And he
Try
should be
med
safe.
up here, I believe. His last first aid kit being used. He's got 3 kills so far in this game. We see the Nova player trying to rotate into the blue a little bit. That's a risky one at this point in the game. It takes to take half HP. As 9K's Guardian does get taken down by a car explosion. Now Nova, the only team with 4 remaining. Backup pushes around the corner and he does manage to get a knock and secure the kill with the Thirst. He's been playing well so far to bring his team back into a Guardian Imperium. Only down to 1 more player. If he can flush that player out, then he'll be in a pretty decent position for the Bastardos guys after losing 2 in a quick succession. On
Nova
board.
Esports looks like they could be getting their winner chicken dinner finally here. They are on the first page. They got a lot of kills, but unfortunately they haven't gotten themselves a chicken dinner just yet. So now they are looking like they're primed to get it because they have 4 men still strong here.
Bastardos' Law does go down to the play zone. He's quite a ways from his teammates, so I don't think he's going to be able to be revived at all. So he does go down completely. We see the other Bastardos member in the play zone too. He's just tanking it up, using his meds. I don't think he is long for this world. He'll continue to try and give it his best shot as he's first aid kitting up frantically, but he's chosen not to move. So he will go down as soon as his first aid kits run out.
Yep, just left with 1. He should be going down soon, as you say. And that will leave Nova Esports 9K and Guardian Imperium
Got
to
stuck
stay alone.
actually. Making a valiant attempt to push in, but he's been found out by the sound queue. And that is GI taking out Bastardos. More sprays come up here. This is 9K. They're one of their last players available. So will take the kill and confirm it too.
9K left with 1 player here. Nova still 4 strong. Again, they look like they're primed to win this fight.
9K dropping out now with the play zone taking them out. So it is Nova's 4 players to the 1 player alive on GI. It is all over, but the crying for this GI player is spotted and sprayed. That is it, the end of the game. Nova take the first win on Vikendi for the South American region. Only a 4-kill chicken dinner, so it's only a little one. It's more of a chicken snack than a dinner.
Yep.
GI having a nice game there, getting themselves 8 kills, it seems. Second place, that's not bad from them. 9K following up with 8 kills themselves into 3rd. It is a low kill game, essentially. A lot of teams spread kills pretty evenly. Even the bottom end teams managed to pick up 1 or 2. Highlight of the game for me was probably the compound crashes and the long drawn out compound fights, as we see some highlights ring out here. This is some of the scouting players getting picked off pretty early in the piece. We see more scouting players getting taken down. Lots of scouts going wrong here on Vikendi.
Yeah, a lot of them taken up very early on, starting the fight, but it with what happened in Erangel, but less of that happening. I feel that happening as well because a lot of these teams, they kind of see, if they see a threat, they try to fight them off and try to chase after it because they know that it's a scout, so that's exactly what happened in Vikendi and in this game as well. Sorry, in Erangel in this game as well.
Hero play by Baka, managing to get a few free kills at the end of the game. Not much needed points really, because they're sitting at top, very clear on top as well. So just a few style points, I guess, for the side of Bastardos there. Baka running around with the silenced mini Uzi. Sorry, I forgot the name of the gun for a moment there. I know the sound it makes though, because it's a very clean sound, very fast firing with the silencer on it. Sounds great.
I want to make this sound, but does it sound like?
Kind of does sound like that, doesn't it? And those silenced machine guns are very satisfying to play with.
Yep.
So Vikendi in the books, halfway mark for these teams now as they've all played 6 games. Bastardos, they're continuing their reign of terror on this South American region, picking up another top 5 finishing. Pretty decent stuff. They did choose to go out to the blue essentially as Law ended up just giving up, and Baka tried to make a run for it but got picked off by the last GI player. As we see the chicken dinner, it's only a 24 one, so it's a baby chicken dinner if that. 9K Esports picked up 8 kills, Guardians Imperium picked up 8, and 8 for Bastardos as they get 16 for the round. Team Queso, solid finish. 6-9 Esports as well up in the mix. So those top teams continue to play on. The only one we're missing there was Brazilian Killers, who went out in about 12th, 13th place, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was kind of sad for them, especially because they were trying to get themselves into winning race against the starters, but losing that into 13th place is really not advisable. Or I think whatever it is, they got 1 point, so I think they got something out of it at least.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be where they want to go, as Nova Esports with that chicken dinner does overtake them by 7 points, it seems. 123 points for Bastardos though. It doesn't look like anyone's going to try or catch them today, at least. Brazilian Killers up there, 6-9 have been pushed out of the way by Nova as well. So our top 4 has shuffled around a little bit. Team Queso, with their performance, managed to stay inside the top 6 without a chicken dinner. The only team without a chicken dinner inside that top 6 is Disturbed, chasing right behind them in 7th, has one for themselves. Guardians Imperium have pulled out a decent result to get themselves into that first page. They can be pretty about that one. Ace only have played 4 games, same with Batman and the Red Canids. They'll be looking for revenge tomorrow to climb up those rankings. Influence Rage dropping down too. All these players dropping down, all these teams on this page dropping down as we get into the 17th to 24th.
Oh no, 17th to 24th. Of course, they are still safe here. They're not in the last page where they could be relegated or they could be booted out. But here, the Drang Marines, Critical Esports, INSANOS, Esports SA, Rocket Esports or RPG Inns, the rest of them are in a very dangerous spot.
Law is the top fragger at the moment in South America. Mitek followed by him. Mitek had a quiet game. Don't even think he got a kill. Brazilian Killers going out pretty early. Matos from Bastardos as well in the mix. Aya from Team Queso still in there. So still all of the expected players and teams in that top kills leaderboard at the moment.
Yep, Ayala and of course Law. Law played fantastically in the last couple of days. I think whatever it is gonna take away from Bastardos, they played fantastic. Although they didn't get the chicken dinner as we would expect them to be playing fairly well on Vikendi, but at least they got consistent placements, and I think that should be good news going through.
Yeah, it is good news. Getting consistent placements is one of the keys to the PUBG mobile game. I hope you enjoyed Vikendi. That's going to be it for that for the day. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it's going to be Miramar. Welcome back to the PMCO Fall Split. We're in the South American region, and if you've missed any of the action, you can catch it on the PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. You need to be hitting that bell button, getting all the notifications for that. While you're messing around on your phone, might as well download PUBG Mobile on the iOS App Store or Google Play for free. It's pretty good value if it's for free, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
As we saw Vikendi in the books now, the first Vikendi of the South American region being taken out by Nova. A name that's pretty popular among mobile PUBG players and mobile PUBG tournaments alike. They've been doing pretty well in other regions too. Nova South America though, they've had their first chicken dinner of the tournament.
Yep, they've shot themselves up in the scale, I think, because they were the only ones on the they were one of the two on the first page that didn't have any winner chicken dinners. After getting that one, they shot their way, I think, to third or second, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, no, they're second place now.
Yeah, they're gonna push their way up, and we were seeing that very early on, right? Any of these teams could have got themselves a winner chicken dinner, just kind of push their way up, and one of it is Nova.
Yeah, and they'll be chasing PubgDaZueira for the rest of the day. It would be good fun if we can see them chase it.
Yep.
It was great times on Vikendi though, but the next map we are getting ourselves into is Miramar, one of the older maps now. It's been in the pool for quite a while. It's an 8x8, 18 towns. That's 2 more than Erangel. Win 94, that weapon of choice on the map, or the unique weapon. Lots of compounds in this map, and it has my favorite car in it, the muscle car. The sound of that is beautiful, as the plane path we will find out in a moment as the players paint the plane. It is a northwest to southeast plane, straight down the middle, so lots of action and lots of compounds still in play here. Los Leones might be a bit of a hot spot, as we see one team, Brazilian Killers I believe that, is jumping out the plane almost straight away. They'll be going around to that trailer park area or just north of that. They'll be all alone too. That is an interesting plane and an interesting drop location from the Brazilian Killers.
I actually, among all the regions that I've seen no one drop at that part of the map before. This is the first time for me as well.
Yeah, maybe they know something that we don't. It's a very long rotation anywhere central, so they're going to be hoping that that circle does pop on that northwestern side. If it is anywhere else, it's going to be pretty difficult to get to. As we see a player in the pip failing to jump through a window. It happens to the best of us, mate. Don't worry about it. If you are watching the VOD.
Shoelace, I think.
Yeah, he needs to tie it up. He's slipping around all over the place. As we see the players going north and south, looks like not many teams are choosing to stay so central. Ricardo is one of the popular loot zones in this map. It's probably the most central and the main town, as we are in match 3 of the A and C group clash.
Yep, following Brazilian Killers, although Brazilian Killers were, I think, having some problems here in the first couple of maps, not really getting the placements that they should be getting. I think.
No, they got a big kill game on the first game. I think they got 13 kills, but they did leave themselves just outside that top 5. I believe they got 6th place. So
yeah,
if they went on to win that game, imagine how big that chicken dinner would have been. It would have been a feast.
Yeah, it would have been still. Maybe they could have just shot themselves up at top and build the confidence as well. But with that, not getting the top 5, I think again the missing link in a lot of these teams is the momentum and the consistency. I think getting those kills is really important, but getting placement is important, just as important, because you can double up your scores as well.
Certainly can. Los Leones is inside the new circle. It did pop towards the eastern side, the southeast area. That is completely away from where the Brazilian Killers were expecting or hoping it would be shooting out. So they've got a long road ahead of them. Hope they've got plenty of those fuel cans ready to go, because they're going to need them.
Yeah, they have a long way to track here.
See a lot of the teams just moving around now, just finding their loot rotations, loot zones. We still have 64 players alive. Nobody has taken a spill just yet. So teams are obviously very set in their ways where they're looting. Obviously, you can parachute out when you're parachuting. Look around, see who's around you, and kind of gauge where everyone's going and react accordingly. As more loot for PubgDaZueira, so not like they need it. They could be shooting with pistols at the moment and be fragging out. It seems like anything they touch turns to gold.
Yeah, certainly so, because as it stands, they've had 2 days of games, and both 2 days they've been playing very, very consistently. Their placements as well. Yesterday they had a winner in chicken dinner, and then after that they placed top 3 as well. In the third game, I think, in the fourth game, I think they placed top 5. So they know how to be able to sustain themselves at the top of the list.
Certainly do, as they are pulling away at the top of that list. Nova catching them slowly last game, but still quite the mountain to climb as we are on board with EEG as they're looting around, picking up what scraps they can. Level 2 helmet, level 1 vest, as we see a player now with level 3s kitted out on that side of EEG, so they've found what they probably expected to find today, which was a lot of loot.
They're left to their own devices for the meantime. Influence Rage does see a couple of players right in front of them. It looks like they want to engage because they have one player there, or maybe that's a scout again. We did see a lot of scouts dying very early on into Vikendi, so hopefully that would not be the case.
Looks like they're getting aggressive here. They're making a beeline towards this EEG squad. There's Eagle Eye Gaming. Not sure if they're going to find the line of sight to spam down the cars that are rotating away. Eagle Eye are choosing to disengage from this fight, it seems, as they must have another car laying around there for those two players, and they hop in it and do a bit of reversing. And they will soon be gone. Not going to be staying around for too long. Don't want to take any chances in the early game. A squad fight can go either way, essentially, especially in this early game when the circle hasn't really affected any of the teams. It goes all about the shooting, and sometimes that can be a bit of a roll of the dice with these professional players. They're all so talented that they can all kill each other. I couldn't get a kill on them, but that's because I got 2 left thumbs.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I've seen your thumbs.
Yeah, they're not the greatest tools, but we work with what we've got. As we see at the side of Evo getting into some cars and rotating around. Looks like they've got themselves a pretty decent stack of loot. Lots of meds on this man. Level 2 vest, helmet, level 3 backpack. He's going to carry all these goods in that. All these wares. We haven't seen much loot division actually in the South American region. In the wildcard region I was covering last night, there were lots of times where the teams would stop and divide their loot up amongst each other. Lots of sharing and caring. So maybe the South American players, maybe a little bit more greedy, but they do end up getting into the late game a lot more often.
Yep. Yeah, they certainly do. So I think that's something that maybe they can rectify, or maybe they can learn from, and maybe change something there. But EGG not engaging another team. Looks like they might want to go for the chase. No, they actually winning the fight altogether. So again, these teams are not looking to fight very early on. They're very explosive to the later stages of the game. So it's better for you to keep your equipment, to keep your utilities in check, and then, as you said, maybe just have a little bit better of an item management very early on.
Certainly. But nothing is chasing. Look, nothing is getting chased in that combi van as it flies over the hills. Very slow-moving vehicle. It's kind of like a bit of a tank, but at the same time, it's got a big hitbox, so it go down pretty quick. Not a fan of this vehicle, actually. Whenever you're going uphill, you feel like you're not moving at all.
The Scooby-Doo car, I think, it looks like it's worse for wear. It looks like it's been through a lot. So I don't trust this guy at all.
No, he's going to swap it out for that buggy, which is a wise move. The buggy is a lot more nimble on these mountain tops and hills. Brazilian killers have tried to make their way in on the long rotate. They are taking a little bit of blue damage, but it will just be a tickle at this stage, as the Campo Militar team will also make their way down. I believe that is Team Solid up there in the northern side. A lot of teams stacking the coastline at the moment. That is just in case it does shift over to those little tiny islands that kind of look like New Zealand a little bit. As someone who's very familiar with New Zealand, as they are my neighbours.
I would say they look like Langkawi because there's an actual Langkawi in my country.
Oh, alright. Kind of owns.
I just wanted to put something out there.
That's all good. The coastline is getting filled up though by a lot of teams. I can count 5 or maybe 6 heading towards there or already there, so action might ring out. There are a lot of compounds around that city and that compound coastline, as there is nice real estate on the coast. You get a nice view of the beach, nice view of the water, so don't blame them for posting up there as we see DT rotating in to the zone. They've made it in safe and sound. B4, they're on the screen now with a nice picturesque shot of Impala, which is that city by the sea.
Yeah, and Bastardos has played fantastically throughout the game so far. Law is at the top of the table with his key lead, so I think everything's moving up for Bastardos here. It's just a matter of making sure that they consistently place top 3 and get those kills as much as Brazilian Killers does, and then they can just sustain themselves at the top of the table.
Certainly, the only crate to drop so far is in the middle of the ocean, so don't think that one will be claimed at all. Most of the teams in this PMCO haven't really prioritised those crates so much. You can see some shots raining out. One tag does go through. That's INF getting a knock and a finish, I believe. There's 63 alive, so they did get the kill to confirm with the car explosion. Not getting revived from a car explosion. That is a bit too deadly. So already one player from the Drunken Marines knocked out, and they've had a bit of a rough tournament so far, unfortunately for them. Starting off the Miramar, we have a compound crash early here. They are pushing in pretty aggressively on the side of Influence Rage. Heading down the hill. Maybe they saw it was Drunken Marines and thought, hey, these guys could be easy pickings. A nade comes out, it just scratches one of the Influence Rage members, but nothing too bad. That's Mendigod, who's been a star player for that team actually. His name definitely does appear quite often in the kill feed on the left hand side. As another player gets knocked, it is one of the Drunken Marines again. Influence Rage are picking them apart.
They know kind of like where Drunken Marines are, and they know that Drunken Marines haven't been playing that fantastically here. Morgado just does get finished off there. So a couple more players still alive for Drunken Masters. I think they really can't do a lot in this situation because INF is not them. And
that is the third one down. There's only one remaining. He's in the top of the building across the road. All 4 players from Influence Rage are all over this. They'll be hoping to get away scot-free, clean as a whistle, with no knocks or no kills against them, but maybe hero play is in order. Grenades go out on top of the building. They know he's in there. That's the only place he realistically can be.
Mendigod would try to push up first. He's going to try and throw a nade in. Shouldn't be able to connect here. He's going to try it anyway. And with do no damage whatsoever, so they know where he's at, as you said.
I believe there is a little bench in that top room there that he might be hiding it behind and blocking the grenade splash damage as more nades get thrown in. And he goes down to that nade, so it's a hole in one, and it is Influence Rage knocking out the first squad. It is Drunken Marines who are going to the bench for a while. Take a walk, boys. Reset. Come again next game on Erangel.
Yeah, maybe you need to kind of have a couple of drinks to relax here because INF just pushed straight into them. There was nothing that they could do in that situation. Again, they were kind of pushed in. A couple of them were knocked before INF even got to the compound, and because of it, it was very easy for INF to just take them down. Especially if you have no way to escape from the second floor, you're left all alone with the compound getting surrounded.
Well, that's it. You can't really vault out the window. We've seen players vault in this PMCO and just get taken out immediately. That vaulting animation often seals your fate if you're in a fight, as we see EEG just hanging out at the moment. This is a nice area for them to be. It's relatively north of the center of the circle. Minas Generales is the name of the location, as we see the circle shrinking a little bit more. It doesn't look like too many teams are willing to fight at the moment. There is plenty of real estate inside this second circle. Brazilian Killers have found themselves in on the long rotate. They've found themselves in a pretty decent position, actually, as we are on board with the GI squad. That is, what am I looking at here? It's Guardians Imperium. They've had a better day today. I think they've worked their way into the top 8 even. So that's good news for them and fans and supporters alike.
But although that is the good case, but I think we haven't seen a lot of them as much. I think they keep getting, their scouts keep getting killed very early on, so they kind of get into the mid game with less and less players. So I think that's something they have to rectify very soon, because right now, okay, never mind. Forget that thought, because Law is engaged upon by the Guardian, but Law gets dropped straight away here. He gets dropped on his knees already and will be finished off, and the highest killer will be dropped. Metos is there to provide support as well. Will be able to get a return kill upon Guardian. Darius will push in as well. 9K right now pushing in onto Bastardos very, very fast.
It's a very brave play to push in there. We also see Brazilian Killers and Team Solid going at it on the north side of the map. One of the players there from each squad knocked, so that one's going to be another one where we don't. Oh, with a headshot straight away. That is a crisp shot with that DMR. They still do a lot of damage, those DMRs. Not often the favorite weapon for these PUBG Mobile players, but when you do pick them up and you get the shots with them, they're quite powerful, as we see more of that Brazilian Killers onto Team Solid in the northern side. It is lots of players getting down and confirmed now as well, so could be only 1 or 2 members remaining. They're actually out in 15th place, Team Solid, so not the result that they would have liked. Brazilian Killers now picking up a lot of kills, and that's more kill points for them as this fight keeps going on between Bastardos and the side of 9K. There is another squad in the area, as you can see on the screen.
Yep, that's actually, if I'm not mistaken, INSANOS. They're just going to pass away and not really take this fight. But Metozo has been dropped very early on, so they are trying to save him now. Nunes is pushing in, down there, and he gets sprayed upon as well. But Polly is on the sides, and Polly will be able to take the shot upon Nunes instead. Becker is all alone, 1v3 situation, and now he's going to throw the smoke to buy himself some time. Nunes is on the side. He will throw another smoke to try and revive Nunes as well. But this is ill-advised because once he tried to respond to Nunes, Polly would try to take him down. Now he's going for the revive.
Yeah, waiting for the nades to come out from 9K. If they have any, now is the time to throw them, and that one just falls a tad short. That could have been a hole-in-one or 2 for 1, 2 birds, 1 stone type of scenario. As 9K, they've taken their foot off the gas a little bit. They are throwing a Molotov out there, but it's going to be wide of the mark. Another HE grenade goes out, but it is not in the right line of sight or right angle to pick up that player. So Bastardos already taken down a peg. They are hurting a little bit with only 2 players remaining. Their top fragger out as well, as we are on board with the other squad that has been fragged upon. It is GI and Brazilian Killers going at it. Brazilian Killers just finished off another squad, so they're pushing in, looking for more fights already, and they've already got a knock.
Yep, Aimbot gets dropped. Another side gets dropped. Well, this is really, really fast. But as it stands, the mic will be dropped by Wagwin. They're pushing in. Brazilian Killers looking for some more frags. After getting 4, they want to get another 4. When they add to the skills, make sure that they get it, and they will be able to do so.
That's another squad out for the Brazilian Killers. They're kicking ass and taking names in this game 3. 7 kills already, 48 players alive. All 4 Brazilian Killers are active on the board too. So they are in for a massive game as they pick up another kill, actually. Pick up another an ending there from on INSANOS, as the last 2 players from Bastardos are making their mark on the southern side of the map. How much longer, we are not sure. Team Queso getting involved now, picking off these INSANOS players that have found themselves in the middle of nowhere. These DMRs are going to work on top of this cliff. They are free pickings at the moment. You can see the little triangle of pain that we have here with INSANOS at the losing end of it, as some of the 9K players are actually getting knocked out by the play zone as we do follow the coverage of this fight. One of our kill leaders on your screen now has been sharp all day and all of yesterday too, or the previous day of group stages for South America.
Yep, and exactly that. The law has been dropped. It means that it's very easy for him to kind of just kill the leaderboard on in terms of kill as well. So Ayala looking pretty good here with BRK in their sides along with INSANOS. So they could just kind of take these skills and just add on to it so the team Queso kill score. But looks like BRK are just bailing out there. They're straight away going into a circle, and they should be safe for now.
BRK are going to need to replenish their armor though and their meds, because after wiping out 2 squads, you are feeling the pain a bit. Your silly chest or silly vest is quite low as more spray comes in. This is Team Queso on the rotate. They've found themselves in the crosshairs of the Brazilian Killers, and that's not somewhere you want to be today. They've already had 1 big kill game. Looking for a second. That car block might be enough to clean it out. It's not. The last player there alive is very low as they spot the second set of Team Queso players rotating, but they might have to just give up as both of these players have been knocked, and they will be finished momentarily, I believe.
Queso in a lot of trouble. It's looking like they will have to bail out of this. There's nothing that they can really do in this situation because they are kind of split far apart from each other. So BRK will pick up those kills.
They will, as more kills for that squad of the Brazilian Killers. They are setting a record-setting pace at the moment. They are at 9, 37 alive. Can they get to 20 kills? That's the magic mark I haven't quite seen yet in this tournament. There is lots of squads around them and lots of squads to be taken out if they are willing to take the risks to do it.
Yep, BRK in prime position to get more kills in their sights. They are already at 9, as you said. Marco is there as well. Swagun can just finish him off. But again, he doesn't have information about the players around him. But Mitak, it looks like he spots another team because he was coming in. And they might be destroyed here. The car getting sprayed down. They're getting a lot of damage done to it. The car does. Let's go back to Carol. They'll be safe for the meantime. They're running away from there.
It's more kills, up to 12. Brazilian Killers, they're finding all these rotations. They're finding them while they're rotating too. More of Team Queso getting peppered by the Brazilian Killers. This car is stalled out and crashed. We saw that earlier from those INSANOS guys, and we are down to our final 10 teams already, and the circle is still pretty decent size. This is uncharacteristically quick for the South American region.
Yep, this is pretty fast. Exactly that because of BRK's, look at that, swaggering with 5 kills. Because of Brazilian killers, I think, because they have been eliminating all teams left, right, front and center, everywhere. And Bad Bunny, as you said, one of the better players from Crim. It looks like he has been engaged upon by Assassin, and should be safe here for the meantime. But now he has to run down, and he has been spotted out. He's getting shot upon. Bad Bunny is very low. Assassin, just one more bullet will take him down, but so far so good. He will be able to hide behind that crevice.
Some kill to hide in as 6ix9ine are starting to get on the kills, but it is a central circle shift. Brazilian killers are in a decent position in there at the moment. There is a lot of teams on the southern side. One of the Cream players does find himself knocked out to the play zone, so they are looking pretty weak at the moment. On board with 6ix9ine right now as they are checking their 6. They have eyes on the Brazilian killers. They need to put some damage in there. They do. They start shooting at the same time. They manage to get one knock. The second player is very low, and they are just peppering them at the moment. This Brazilian killers player is not long for this world. He will find his way into the grave.
Alright, that took a longer time than expected, but Minted does get dropped. Paralyzed is right beside him, as you said, very low. But they turn back, miss. Fighting Boss there on the ground, just trying to run away, and Boss will be eliminated here.
6ix9ine now stepping up to the plate. They've had a little bit of a quieter day compared to their first one, but they are still in the running. They have 4 alive, they have these PMRs, and they are shredding through these teams. Doing so much damage. It's quite wild to see. Shot right out with these PMRs. So I haven't seen quite a while. Just peppering teams as they try and rotate in. Cream under a lot of pressure, and they are out. 6ix9ine taking them down a peg.
Yeah, Myth with that mini 14 does wonders, and we'll be able to play one team down, and looks like BRK in a still pretty good position. You know, they have to push in a little bit, because if not, they can get sandwiched in by EEG and INF, so they have to be careful in this position. But so far, it looks like they're in a good position to just stay here, relax, and respond to what's happening around them.
Influence rays are on the high ground above, and they have a good position, and they still have lots of members alive to play with, 3 of them in fact, so I wouldn't count them out just yet. They've had a pretty up and down season so far. As we hear the buggy rotate in, all over it. He knows the player's there. He chooses to change weapon at the wrong time. He gets tagged down all the way about to a 20% HP. But he's called that the player is there and pushing up. Myth will guard the flank now, waiting and watching as the grenade might roll out. He sees the player with that third-person camera. Throws a nade straight at his feet. Manages to knock him out too. That's a nice nade there. Very cheeky, very well played as Brazilian killers are getting engaged upon. They have 2 players alive, 1 player knocked. They need to pick that player up. You see the top 5 teams now.
Yep, Disturb has 4 strong, Nova has 4 strong as well, looking like they're primed to take another game. 6ix9ine Esports, finally we see them on the board as well. See very much alive in the top 5. We have Brazilian killers still with 2 players, 1 knock, Influence Rage with 3. So there are a lot of players still in play for all of these teams, except for Brazilian killers and Influence Rage. Usually we see at this point they have maybe 1 or 2 players still alive on the bottom of the score, but they have almost all the players alive.
Problem for Brazilian killers now is the fact that their only cover is the cars that they brought. And they are getting peppered out. That will be the knock and the finish onto that Brazilian killers player. There's only 2 alive for Brazilian killers. So despite getting another massive kill game, it looks like they won't be able to claim a chicken dinner, Brazilian killers, unless something happens quite quickly. A bit of a miraculous shot as Nova actually lose a player. He gets knocked out by a car explosion as Pedro will take one of the INF guys out. And this means there's only 1 player left for Brazilian killers, as 1 is knocked and confirmed. Another kill for the side of 6ix9ine.
Yeah, this is what we're seeing. Brazilian killers are very good with taking down those kills, but somehow when the circle starts to shrink, they have a little bit of a problem rotating in, because their positioning is for fighting and rather than surviving. So right now they are with 1 left, and hopefully they kind of can rectify that very, very soon, because the circle is starting to shrink right now.
The Brazilian killers player is not going down without a fight. He is taking as many as he can with him. Ready to get 1 player taken down. Those now starting to chime in with some kills of their own. Disturbed getting the brunt of that, as Brazilian killers are knocked out into 5th place. Influence Rage with 1 member alive, coming down off that high ground. Nova with 4 strong, with the 6-9 Esports Disturbed. They are down to 2. They rapidly drop 2 players. 0 kills on this Nova squad, so they're looking for a clean chicken dinner.
Yeah, if they do get it, they can raise up the score and maybe just beat Bastardos here on. But I don't think so, because Bastardos and them difference is I think about 20-something.
Yeah, it is quite a sizable one. It's more than just 1 chicken dinner, so they're going to need a few more kills in there with that. 1 Nova player does go down, getting knocked by a disturbed nade, a renegade nade, as Pedro on your screen now with 4 kills, 13 kills for the side of this 6-9 squad. They've been quiet, but this could change it all, as one of the DT players actually goes down to the play zone, so he won't be able to get resurrected in this late part of the game. Myth, 4 kills as well to his name. They've been sharing it around pretty evenly so far. 1 DT player to find. He is just over the hill line. It would be rather unfortunate of Myth to walk past him and get killed in his backside, but you can see it happening.
I can certainly imagine it right now. So Bill is there still a little bit towards the outer side of the circle, but he can just move in. For the meantime, he will be able to survive, but they spotted him out. Bill is in a lot of trouble. He's going to try to run himself behind the houses, and he should be able to do so, and will be safe for the meantime. But Nova, as he stands, can see them from a mile away, so he has to be careful in this position here.
Certainly does need to be careful. Nova and 6-9 are in the driver's seat, but that 1 player from Disturbed could prove to be an absolute pain. They know something's up though. Pedro is on the flank watching the scout. Don't know if he knows exactly where the player is, but he has a rough idea. Shots rain out from Nova onto the last player of Influence Rage. Nothing's connecting just yet. Still no kills on the board. Top 4 situation, 10 alive.
Nova trying to finish this game as 6-9 getting engaged upon by Nova again. They have 4 players strong here, so they're shooting against 6-9 who has 4 players as well. So this is a very fair fight for both of these teams, but 6-9 is a little bit stuck in the crevice. Still a little bit harder for them to just kind of pick out, because as soon as they stand, they will be in a lot of trouble here.
It is 6-9 has 3 players with 4 kills apiece. So they're spreading the love quite well in this game 4. The last game of the day for these 2 groups, A and C, in the PMCO 2019 fall split. It is the first round of group stage 2. They still have 32 teams, all 32 teams in action. And the action is kicking off now. 3 teams. Influence Rage do get taken out. I believe Nova might have been the team to take them. So it is just the 1 Disturbed player going in alone.
Kind of annoying there, but
He's
finally
done,
though, yep, Pedro takes him down.
15 kills at the moment. If they win this game, it's going to be a 19-kill chicken dinner for the side of 6-9 if they manage to take it out. That is a hefty amount of points.
That's very hefty indeed. Now they have the prime position as well, because they're sitting inside the compound. They have all the advantage in the world. Nova has to kind of push out if they want to be, if you want to be a little bit more aggressive. They have to push out of here, but 6-9 is, again, their positioning is not that good. They have to kind of hide behind the hill here for the meantime, but it's an engagement between 4 versus 4 here.
Something you'd never see really is a 4v4 in the final circle. It's going to come down to team play, execution, and then aim. In that order, you'd say. Watching each other's back quite well at the moment, the side of 6-9, as they are rotating around. They might try for this crate, but it is a bit of a risky one. You assume they'll be line of sight. They are moving the cars up now to get some more cover perhaps. Nova wearing some shots on the sleeves. 6-9 waiting, throwing grenades. The smokes are going to be deployed. It's going to be a wall of smokes. We're going to have a smoky city. It's not going to be too good for our spectating, but it's going to be fantastic for the team that manages to get the better of those smokes.
Yep, 6-9 starting to push in now. Nova is stuck behind the hill. Still, they want to push out as well. So Nova is going to take the, 6-9 is going to take the first step with Pedro leading the charge. But can they really engage onto this? Nova has the upper hand right now. They have the high ground. They're able to take a couple of these skills down, but somehow nobody's still dead. Nobody is just dead just yet.
Nobody is dead just yet. We hear the gunshots rattling out. Our mags are unloading into those smokes. Just estimating where players will be deployed. All 4 of the 6-9 players have found 1 player, and they all finish him at the same time. Advantage 6-9. you see them all peeking at the same time. If there's any of these Nova players pop their head up, they're going to get ripped clean off. Starts to approach the board. One of the 6-9 players starts to get dropping very low. He does get a drop shot. Pedro at the back, he's their star. He's dropping very low too. So the Nova guys are trading back and forth. They're trading this damage quite well. Trading out. The AK shots come through too. Pedro on the deck, healing up.
Still surviving for the meantime. He's on the other side. He will be taken out by Miss. And the kicking end, Ricky is on the left side as well. But he gets dropped instantly and Snakes is on that left. 6-9. It looks like they're primed to win this fight. Snakes is all alone in a 1v3 situation. Make it 1v4 if they manage to pick up Daniel just for fun.
You can hear him jumping around in the smoke. So the spam will come down. The players are just spamming through, frantically trying to find this last man. Nova, he pokes it out of the smoke, gets another knock, but it won't be enough. Nova go down in second place, so they finish the day with a lot of placement points and not too many kill points, but the big winner from this game is that massive chicken dinner from 6-9. They've got themselves, what's that, 18-19 kill chicken dinner. That is the biggest one I've seen all tournament.
That's a huge number for them to walk away with. But 6-9 though, they played it fantastically, waited for Nova to push in first, and then as soon as Nova pushed in, they just kind of fought together there. So whatever it is, fantastic from 6-9. I think somehow they managed themselves to survive for the longest time.
Yeah, they did, and they also found every time you saw them peeking that ridge as a 4-man stack, quad peeking the side of Nova, taking them out one by one. It was very well done by 6-9, very well disciplined. They even went for the res in the final zone when they knew that they got those 2 knocks. It was only 1 player active. They're trying to play it as safe as possible with that res. As we see some highlights come out here, this will be mostly Brazilian killers at the start of the game, you'd think, because they have managed to rack up a massive amount of kill points. I believe they got to 13 or 14 kills, and there were still so many players alive in the circle when they went out.
Yeah, that's the problem. Again, Brazilian killers always gets a lot of kills in all of their games, but somehow they just can't rectify the problem of rotating back into the circle in the 6th or the 7th circle. Somehow every single time when they rotate in, they kind of get caught in something like this, where 6-9 can see them. And because their positioning is more towards fighting, and they kind of get stuck in between 2 teams at most of the time.
Saw some fantastically timed nades out of the 6-9 guys as well, and well, that is it for Miramar. One more game left in the day. 6-9 claiming the biggest chicken dinner of the tournament, surely, with 19 kills, 20 placement points. That is just monstrous. They'll be shooting up the rankings. They might even overtake Nova with that performance.
Yeah, I think they could, but Nova with that, if I'm not mistaken, their kills are not as much.
They only got 1 kill that game, but they still did get the placement points for second place.
I didn't want to say it in a bad way, but yeah, they kind of ended up with only 1 kill, so that's kind of sad for them. So maybe they could be beaten, but they're still up there.
Let's have a look at the points for that game. We have Brazilian killers getting 16 kills. They shoot themselves up to second place in that game just because of those kill points alone. We saw Nova, they finished in second on the placing, but they walk away with only 15 points. So they're all the way down in 4th actually, as Influence Rage managed to claim 8 kills. So those top 3 teams, there is a lot of the lobby dead by their hands, and you can see that there's teams in the top 5 that don't even have a kill.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of a little bit off. They stood with 0 kills there, but the rest of them are okay. For the last 3, though, not rocking any kills at all. INSANOS at least gets 1, 9K Esports gets 2. As we said, the middle table gets a lot, or at least gets a couple of kills in, so they kind of can catch back up towards the middle table.
Here we have the leaderboard, and it is 6-9 Esports shooting, rocketing up the leaderboard. They're only 6 points behind PubgDaZueira now. They have 3 chicken dinners to their name, 1 more, and they've fed the family. Brazilian killers stay in that 3rd place. Nova go down to 4th, and that's really the big movement and shaking in that first page of teams. But 59 kills for Brazilian killers. They have been setting a record pace so far, and 6-9 Esports almost doubled their whole kill tally in that game alone. They are the leaders at the moment for placement points, but 39 kills, 19 of them coming in that last game. That is a big margin. 1 game, 19 kills. Before that, they were at 29 or 20 kills out of 6 games. So things changing for the better for them there, as we see Influence Rage moving up a bit too. PDZ moving up too. Ace still in reach of that top 10 or close by with only 4 games played, so they're going to look for a big day tomorrow to catch up. Drunken Masters moving up, or Drunken Marine, sorry, moving up out of the danger zone, or just outside of the danger zone. So this is the danger zone now. We see INSANOS. They have played 7 games and they are still well and truly stuck in that final 8 or that bottom 8. Cream Esports also not looking too hot there. Mitek, our kill leader now, as Pedro has shot up the rankings with a big kill game for him. I believe he got 7 or 8 in that one. So he's gone up to 2nd place. Law, previously our kill leader, is dropped down to 3rd from that one game, that one quiet game. There's more BRK fills the list, as well as the one Bastardos player bringing up the rear. He will join Law as the only 2 in the list. That is some big numbers though coming out of players like Mitek and Pedro.
It's kind of way bigger than what the Middle Eastern teams had to offer here. In terms of killed Bastardos and Brazilian Killers reckoning it out. As you said, Brazilian Killers very good with taking those kills very early on. They can just engage any single time, but at least the rotation was a little bit to be desired. But at least their kills are putting them way up top there.
Yeah, we've seen 2 games now for the Brazilian Killers. First one on Erangel and the second one on Miramar. The 3rd map of the day have multiple kills and multiple squad wipes by themselves. Well, we'll find out what happens in the last game of our day. It will be Erangel. We're going to go take a short break. Hope you guys join us just in a minute. Thank you for watching the PMCO Fall 2019 split. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back. You're watching the PMCO Fall Split 2019. I am Smash. I'm joined by Wen. And Wen, if they've missed any of the games, where can they find them?
Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, you can find it on the PUBG Mobile Esports channel, and you can just make sure that you subscribe to it and hit the notification button to make sure that you get news when the streams comes online, because it's not only this region that's going to be played. There's 6 more regions that's being played on this very channel.
Certainly is, and if you like the look of the game, then you're going to want to play it, and you want to get it from the App Store, the Google Play Store, or the iOS Store. It is completely free, so get in there and start getting yourself some chicken dinners, just like the side of 6ix9ine, who got themselves a chicken feast last game. 19 kills, 39 points in total with the 20 placement points. That shot them up to 2nd place in the rankings. They'll be very pleased with themselves there.
Yeah, very good, fantastic play from them. It looked like they were the more complete team in the overall gameplay, right? They were very good in the middle game. They took a lot of teams down. And at the end of the game, when it was crunch time, they defended themselves against Nova perfectly, waiting for Nova to come into the mouth of the tiger, I would say.
Yeah, it certainly did. What strikes me was the way that they all peaked at the same time in that final circle. They were all so composed and had the teamwork down pat perfectly. But Nova have had themselves a very fantastic day too. They've finished consistently higher. They've finished at 1st place, at 2nd place, and I believe they finished at the start of the day. They got a top 5 finish as well.
Yeah, they did.
So it's been a really fantastic day for Nova all around. So they've climbed themselves up into the top 4. Brazilian Killers have been fragging out hard all day, but just haven't got the placement points that they were after. So they're the 4 teams that we are working with at the moment, with PSADOS topping the pops. But it's been a team on the bottom that hasn't managed to climb out. INSANOS, they have been going out pretty early all day today, so they're on the verge of elimination. If they don't start to turn things around this game, they're leaving themselves a little bit too late to make that run.
Yeah, they have to be careful here. There's 8 teams that's going to be eliminated from this 32 team group, so a lot of them have to be careful, or a lot of them have to kind of improve on their gameplay to kind of get themselves back into the middle of the table.
Certainly, if they're going to improve on their gameplay, they need to do it on a map, and the map they're going to be doing it on is Erangel, the classic map. We've seen it once today already. This is the 2nd time, and it will be the final time for today as well in the South American region. Teams will be getting ready to jump out the plane, and the plane is actually almost identical to the first plane we had today. It is moving from the northeastern side down to the southwest, but it is a sharp, acute angle. It's more going south-central than southwest. There's a lot of room to play with around that eastern coast and eastern side. Teams will be favouring Milta, Farm, Pachinki, even Roshok, I guess, is available. School is in there too with the apartments. Obnoska Military Base will be our final destination, with Novo on the way as well.
A lot of these teams will have to drop somewhere in the middle of the map. Of course, again, as you said, this is what we call a very route pilot, where he kind of takes it towards the edge of the map, and it makes it very hard for these teams to kind of scale towards the edges of the map, like the Arcade, Dodgeball, mostly Dodgeball, I think, Hospital and Ruins, where most of the teams like to play kind of at the edge, where you don't have to fight a lot.
Well, yeah, usually you see a team, at least 1 or 2 teams in that Dodgeball, the north or south location, but at the moment there's going to be a bit of a stretch to get there. We'll have to wait until the circle pops to know where we're going to be rotating and focusing our play, but at the moment the teams are all out of the plane. There are a few in the military island hanging out, looking for a good time, looking for some good loot, I should say.
Yep, straight away we're following by Stardust, the team that is at the top of the charts right now. And hopefully they'll get more games in their hands that they can be proud of, because they should be proud. Sitting at 1 after a hellacious few games is pretty good.
It's already kicking off at Milta, Little Milta. It's a far western circle too, so it's a rude plane and a rude circle too. They've been very unkind to the teams, as these 2 teams are on top of it. It is Drunken Marines and TS. The spray from the gun comes in. That is the VSS, the silenced sniper rifle, and the first player of the game is already knocked out. It is the Marines taking a bow. Already 1 player down. They do manage to answer onto a player from TS, and they've spotted each other. They know each other are there as the reinforcements do arrive. He tries to get out of the window, get out of dodge. Manages to get away safely for now, but he's being chased. AK spray is going to come down, but it's not enough. The Tommy gun finishes off the kill. Thirsted, as well as the boy with the wolf coat, has got himself a kill. That is Murray. 50 in the clip on the Tommy G. That is 2 kills for the side of TS, and Drunken Marines again starting off poorly on Erangel.
Yep, they're back to questionable ways, Drunken Marines. I think every single time that they've reached here, they kind of they kind of fight very early on, or they try to fight very early on, or they're not. Maybe they're not just checking their surroundings when they're dropping from the plane. So maybe that's one of the things that they have to rectify very, very soon. Right now, PD already made up with EGG against Gabs, and Gabs will be dropped very fast. And Gabs was one of the scouts, at least for the EEG squad, and again he's been taken out very early on.
It's quite unfortunate for EEG. They've had that problem all of today as another shot from that VSS goes out. That's actually a Nova player getting knocked. It was quite a distance away, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get the confirmation on that kill as well. Drunken Masters, or Marines though, sorry, they were sitting at 28th at the start of today's standings with 12 points, and I don't think they've added too many to that tally today either. It's been a bit of a rough time for them. We've been picking on INSANOS a bit much, but Drunken Marines are in the same boat of being close to being eliminated. They're leaving their run a little bit too late. Might have to rely on some other teams to decide some results for them if they want to progress through the next stage of this PMCO Fall 2019 split.
Yeah, things are not looking so great for them, but for 6-9, things are looking hellaciously great because they've just got themselves a winner chicken dinner, and now they have the entirety of Sonoska military base to run away from these other teams. I think if I'm not mistaken, that's Nova, which is close by them, but they can run away. And again, near the Sonoska military base, there's cars and around there, so you can just kind of escape from there on the cars and just kind of go through the bridge. And again, the circle's not there, so I think there might be a team that will be gatekeeping by the bridge, but so far it doesn't look like they want to commit to it.
Yeah, it looks like it's cream around that bridge area, as you said, but they are spread out pretty far and wide. They've even got a player over north of Ferry Pier in the bushes over there in the forest, so it doesn't look like many teams are going to be going for that bridge camp. The eastern bridge is actually a pretty chock-a-block. Lots of teams going over there as they were rotating away from Milta Powell. That was where Drunken Marines was fighting earlier as they were getting taken out. They're only down to 2 players now, so they're going to be playing very cautiously as we are on board with 9K as they rotate in their cars. The music on, blaring of course, as all these PUBG players do. They love their radio in their cars.
And you kind of have to enjoy the ride as you do, because there's not a lot of things that you can do very early on if you don't see anybody you can fight with. So can you just enjoy the ride, drive around, and maybe look for some place that they can call a little bit of a home where they can just stand for the meantime. But EG's WR has spotted out the Drunken Marines players, and he's marking onto them.
It's got a 4 times on that car 98. The Drunken Marines are going to hop in the whip. Well, one of them does anyway, and might decide to leave this compound after pilfering it for loot, taking all the loot away from there. This is down towards the south side of the Milta area. It's more towards the Ferry Pier type way. It is closer to the bridge, as we see more teams rotating in on the map. These are the Brazilian killers. They have been looting the whole of Yasnaya and making a fist of it. Actually, that is not in Yasnaya. That is Pachinki. I am mistaken from the aerial shot, as this is Rozhog being scouted about. That's the side of Influence Rage sitting at the top of the mountain, having a look down onto Evo.
Yeah, this is kind of a famous place where it's on top of Rozhog, where you can get a bird's eye view of the situation underneath. So that's where Influence Rage is looking down from rather. Evo is right there, and they kind of spot a couple of players from Evo here, but again they don't have a lot of information to go from. Now Evo is moving around, they're going for the shot. The M4 does a little bit of damage, but Shrek should be Shrek should be fine here.
Certainly will, as he gets tagged in the shoulder. This INF player is dancing with death, as it is quite easy to hit a player that's standing on that hill, as they are quite exposed. Behind, he's going to take some shots towards the cars as they're rotating, but there's a bit of a distance away, so finding those shots might be a bit difficult. Evo look to be pretty safe as they rotate around the back of Rozhog to avoid as much fire as possible. You see a 4 times scope equipped, and the spray comes out. The player dropping very low, does end up getting taken down. Evo might need to turn around. You see the car turning around to pick their boy up, but it is getting spammed out quite heavily. Mendigod has been laying some hurt on them. INF now hopping in their own vehicle. It'll be interesting to see if they go and try and crash this, as Mendigod jumps in then out. You need to stay inside the car, please, sir.
Looks like INF wants to converge onto the Evo players, but they're getting shot upon a little bit. Now they have gotten inside the truck, the UAZ, and now they're going to rush straight away into the mouth of Evo here. But Evo's already picked their players back out. All the four of them just jumped out of the car at the same time. Right now they're hunting for Evo. They know where they're at a little bit. They have some inkling of where the players from Evo are. They're going to throw a little bit of a nade, but actually misses there.
There is one of the Evo players on the other side of Rosex, so he can't really help too much of the line of sight he's taking at the moment. So it will be a 3v4 engagement if it does pop off, but it looks like Evo are trying to just turn tail and run as far away from this as they can. They are going to hold up in this house for a little bit. They are choosing to exit out the rear windows, pushing away from the circle, but into safety, I assume. Yeah, into safety it seems, as the INF players are looking for that flank, looking to see where on earth these players could have disappeared off to.
Yep, they're trying to go in for the flank. They're split up with 2 by 2 Mendigot and PH is trying to flank around. Rezik has already gotten himself into a car. Mendigot can just join him as well. They're trying to search for the Evo's player. They kind of have an inkling of where they are right now as they shoot back towards Rezik, but do not want to commit here. Rezik's all alone in the back lines.
Rezik might have actually cut off the escape of the Evo players with this rotation. He's managed to get in front of them where they will be running to, and he's found himself a nice vantage point. As you see now, the Evo players are sandwiched by their counterparts. As EEG are actually getting taken out a bit. There is one player nerved. Evo, they are standing strong, trying to stop this onslaught from the Influence Rage gamers on the hill.
Keep shooting back towards the Evo players. Ale gets dropped a little bit here. Turns out to a very rare HP, but still survives for the meantime. Looks like INF wants to push in again for this. Rezik's there, has a vantage point above 2 of the players here.
Yeah, they're sick of playing passive on this INF side. They want to get right in the mix, start fragging out. They've probably known that they've knocked or tagged these players quite heavily, so the medicine situation won't be too favourable. They push up the stairwell. They get one off onto the Evo player. They will get traded out pretty quickly. The rest of the INF need to get up there and help their boy before he gets confirmed. 2 INF players now on the deck. 2 Evo players also on the deck, getting confirmed out. All of the INF players are still alive. They have 3 kills to their name so far, but there won't be all of Evo, as there is that one man across the road, as we said earlier, who has just been kind of chilling out, hanging about, not getting involved in that silly business.
Things aren't looking so good for Evo, but again, this is one of the maps where we've seen and you can sneak around or sneak into the circle, get a better placement, although you're left all alone. Because sometimes these maps kind of help you with the grass, the trees all around. The terrain is quite good as well for you to kind of sneak your way in and just throw your way all the way into the circle. But Kappa is all alone right now. He's trying to get into the circle as we speak, and he should be able to do so just fine.
Yeah, he's going to throw the Dacia into 5th gear and motor as fast as he can into the middle of the circle. Probably ditch the Dacia and then prone. He is going to rotate past GI, I believe that is in the cars. He's Brazilian Killers player up ahead. He's out scouting about, but he's not in range or line of sight to take shots at these cars as they rotate past, as we see a player from PD kill on to one of the GI guys. GI Joes, actually not called GI Joes at all, but Guardians Imperium is a name that they would prefer to be called.
Yeah, but the problem is GI has been synonymous with dying very early on, so this is one of the problems that they have to rectify very soon, because again the point system is that, or not the point system, but the system is that the last 8 will be booted out, so they are on the way to that situation if they don't fix their mistakes and kind of rectify them very soon, because again they've played 3 days of the games, or 2nd day of the games, so things are starting to dwindle down for them, so they have to fix it.
They did start in 18th place, which is kind of in that danger zone. Dropping below 24 will send you home. So a bad day will all but secure their relegation. So we see more rotating, pushing around. This was the side of 6-9 just flirting with TQ there, as 9K find a knock in the middle of things.
Yep, Dustin is going to stop by here, rejoins his teams and all around. They're looking for shots to give, but 9K is in this house. Team Queso is quite nearby them. There's actually GI, also Guardian Imperium quite close to them. So it might be a 3-way fight here. Mexican standoff between 3 of these teams.
Mexican standoff indeed. It is a triangle of trouble as we see three teams posing at each other. Kind of have to wait until some knocks come through to see one of the compound rushes. This is at Gatka on the edge of the circle. There's more circle closing going on. It shifts southeast of where the play zone was located. All the teams are spewing in from that western side, as you can see. So they're bound for a bit of action soon enough. The smokes will come out from GI. They're on their last two players. Again, mentioning they're starting off the day in 18th place. They can't really afford to drop too much further down. Not a lot of room to work with. This is on board with 9K. They have one kill, but they've also lost a fella. This early on, they'll be playing pretty slow, I'd imagine, as a compound crash does come in. TQ getting crashed by a TS team, and that is not looking too great for Team Solid, as TQ have the advantage being inside the compound. TQ Ayla is picking off where they left off. Axel is joined the party too through the windows, and that is their first team out. That is Team Solid taking a rest now. They'll go to bed. There's not much left for them to do. Team Solid out in 16th position.
That's one of the things that you do not do is hit Team Queso head on, because Team Queso, when they have the compound, they're a very, very strong team.
And Team Solid started the day on 24th position. After the games, I don't think they're going to be much higher. They're not didn't put up a massive fight today. They're going to be relying on the other group's gameplay to play out to see where their position will lie at the end of 2/3 of our games. Shots rain out. More shots come out. INF take a fall on one of their players. It is the side of PD. That is PubgDaZueira as their full name. As the Nova players are trying to rotate as well. They've already lost a man, so uncharacteristic of them, as they've had a fantastic day. As another compound crash comes in. This is INF getting crashed after one of their players getting knocked. PD taking full advantage of that. A second player is knocked, and INF might be our next team going to bed.
Yeah, 3 men trying to put the side. This is not from here, though. Rolex coming from the side. 3 men drop already for them, but somehow they're winning this fight.
Oh, he drops down to 1 HP. Manages to just duck around the corner. He's using that first aid kit. The last player from INF can't find him. He's alone in this house. No helmet to speak of. He's only got that hoodie on. As there are 2 players alive, but that's it for INF. They are donezo for the day. Tab out, boys, and tap out, because you're done. This is the side of not Brazilian Killers, sorry, Bastardos approaching now onto the side of DT. Team that has been having an okay day. Disturbed. They've had some okay finishes, but this is the team we've been coming to expect to clean house, which is Bastardos. Had only had one poor game today, as the kill feed is lighted up with GI answering back with some kills. Even though they're too strong, they are still fighting. Bastardos. That's a beautiful spray down to get that first frag.
One of the players gets dropped. The DT has to be careful in this situation, because they are disturbed, they know where they're at. This is a problem. Bastardos can just push in, but they're pushing in very, very slowly. It's a very slow seat coming in from Bastardos. They're going to heal up first before they make their engagement, and now they're going to push in. Lucas will be the first one to be the tip of the spear to kind of push in. Chucky is very, very low. He has to revert to a more defensive position, because he might be found out here, and he's very, very low.
Certainly is, and he's all alone in that house too. One of the players on the outside, and the other 2 occupying the other 2 houses in this little area of yellows. Circle has shifted. It is north and central. Bastardos running through this house. They have missed actually a player, as one of their players has been knocked by a third party, and he's on the second knock, so it's gonna bleed out pretty quick if he's not attended to, and he is. Never leaving a homie behind, as we see Brazilian Killers in the kill feed a little bit more. They do manage. Law manages to peek around the corner and actually get taken down. So now the push comes out from the side of Disturb. They are trying to take advantage of these knocks. There is a few players down now for the side of Bastardos. This fight is not going the way they want, and they are out. They are out in 13th position, and they don't manage to clean up any of the side of Disturb. So a rare mistake, a rare mis-execution from the side of Bastardos on what was a pretty decent day overall for them.
And then just straight away into the fight, because BRK is fighting with IN as well. So INSANOS might be in a lot of trouble, because Brazilian Killers have been playing fantastically throughout the day so far, and they might be just taken out here very, very fast.
Yeah, Brazilian Killers have been kicking ass, taking names, knocking squads all over the place, and that's already one knock coming out for the side of the Brazilian Killers. They managed to get a nade kill, and they are pushing in. They smell blood in the water, and they can see the next player. Player drops to the floor to reduce the size of his hitbox, but he is found in the grass. That's 2 players knocked down. Brazilian Killers are moving forward without hesitation. They are on track for another big kill game. They've got 3 already. As more players hiding in the grass, could play spoiler, but you need to wake up pretty early in the morning to catch the Brazilian Killers off guard.
Straight away after they got those kills, they're getting into the cars and just skedaddle out of there. This is a very good decision coming in from them. They've gotten what they needed here, getting a couple of kills here, and then that will be enough. They can just run away from it, and there's nobody that can contest them anytime soon.
The Brazilian Killers have been okay with leaving a player or 2 behind alive, just to give themselves a better opportunity to get into the zone and take positional advantage. And what an advantage you see here with the scope. They're able to take out the tires of the cars. They're able to have this high ground position, which is very beneficial. They still have left 1 player on the Brazilian Killers side, kind of floating, waiting to take out the last remnants of these squads, as one of them does get taken down, but that's from a 3rd party. The last player alive in the squad moving in. He is being tagged out by the blue. The Brazilian Killers don't seem to be worrying about him too much. He's popping the full med kit, so he'll go all the way back up to 100% HP.
Yeah, it's pretty much okay for the meantime. Again, as we said, sometimes you lose a lot of players very early on, so you can just rectify the situation as fast as possible by just trying to prone your way in towards the circle. But if you're left with 1, sometimes you're a little bit unlucky as well in that situation, because you don't want to lose your parties very early on. Although you can sneak in, it's still very dangerous.
No, you certainly don't want to be losing on too many fellas too quick. As we approach zone 5, more knocks coming out, this time with a Kar 98 coming through. This is a gun that hasn't seen a lot of play of recent, but is very popular in the early days of PUBG. Very satisfying to hit the headshots with that gun, as it will kill pretty much anything except for a level 3 helmet in 1 shot. DT on the money with those shots. As we see 9K kind of cowering behind some hay bales at the moment. Nova getting into the mix with Cream getting a kill, as we are on board with Brazilian Killers again, following them around as they just keep finding squads and taking them out. The hardest task this time with the side of PQ. Already 1 player knocked from Brazilian Killers, another one very low. If they get a nade inside that Wizard Hut, that is a 2 for deal there for sure. Brazilian Killers dropping very low. One man, now it's 2 on the side of PQ that have been knocked out. Brazilian Killers going into the revives, as we see them getting picked up more and more. This will be 3 up, this will be 4 up. All of those players looking to get back up. As the guy tries to push up and he's fragged immediately, so well done by Brazilian Killers for finishing up that res and getting straight back on the trigger.
Yep, straight away. They're ready for the fight. Although he was rezzing his teammate there, but somehow he will get the kill, and PD is in a lot of trouble here. They know where they're at. They're going to go shooting in. Delta gets dropped, and so they're going to push in as well. So they know that the last player is in on 2nd floor. They should be able to get this kill as well.
That's it.
But that'll be all she wrote.
26 alive, or 27 alive, sorry. Brazilian Killers with 7 kills already. They're looking for another massive kill game. 7 team kills, as I mentioned before. 8 teams alive in the circle. Going out in 9th was PQ. Nova, despite losing a man early, they're still playing aggressively, going for these knocks, going for these flushes. 6-9, they have Myth dropped down. As we can see, the players alive now. We've got Evo with 1, GI with 2, 6-9 with 3, Nova with 3 as well. Team Queso disturbed Cream Esports, who have been a pretty poor team of recent. They're looking to bounce back, and Brazilian Killers all with 4. As Brazilian Killers have 4 kills on kill feed. This is incredible. They are setting.
Oh, 6-9 though in a lot of trouble here. Myth has been dropped as well. Will be finished off. BRK Swagwin steals that kill. But they were fighting it off with Nova, if I'm not mistaken, then they will be taken out.
Yeah, we have the side of TQ putting more hurt into teams that are around. Evo on 1 player remaining now. GI have dropped a player down 2. Nova still on 3. So we have 4 teams with 4 alive. The circle is closing rapidly. It is a smaller one now. The shift is central. No team is in it. Brazilian Killers are the closest. They also got a crate drop. So when it rains, it pours for Brazilian Killers. They're able to get lots of kills, lots of crates, lots of chicken dinners and points. Nova, at the moment, bandaging their wounds up. As Cream is finding themselves in the late game for the first time today.
Although we say it's a late game, but some things are speeding up for this game at least. After the players have gotten a feel of the Erangel, finally in the second game, or the second time they've just gone back to Erangel, they're looking fairly strong here.
Yeah, it feels like these top teams are pretty comfortable with where their points are sitting at the moment, so they're playing just very fast and loose as Cream players are getting lit up by Brazilian Killers as they try and make their way across that field. It is quite difficult to traverse this terrain at this point in the game because it is packed with players going wild in the kill feed. As more Cream players try and rotate out, more Cream players are getting shot at. Shooting the feed, there is actually this 6-9 on the flank, knocking 2 Cream players out straight away. That's 3 Cream players down. Forward soon enough, if we can get the last player out. There's 3 knock. They're also low. Cream out in 5th position. Just as I was applauding them for getting to the late game, they find a way to lose it.
Yep, they tried their best, but again, Cream hasn't been too good so far. Although they have gotten some to the top 5, but that will be all she wrote for Cream. RK, Brazilian Killers still 4-man strong, disturbed with 3, Team Queso with 3, Nova Esports with 2. So Brazilian Killers forced to take the mistake getting straight down here through the tree lines, and they should be going down very soon. Dragon changes to the Mini 14 to try and finish off Mystic, but somehow as Nova is getting the bad end of the knife, as a couple of them are getting knocked here.
This is the 3rd game of 4 today where Brazilian Killers have had over 10 kills. That is so many kill points. They are setting a blistering pace. One of those games was a 14, one was a 15, I believe, and this one is looking to be a similar size number. And DT are hiding out in the bush. They are in the blue now. This player will not be surviving very long if he stays in that, as it is chunking down pretty heavily. DT are putting him down between a car and a tree or a sandbag, it seems. There are so many snakes in the grass, and Brazilian Killers have the only high ground on the map. From that high ground position, they can kind of see where the snakes lie, as we do see TQ with 4 players alive. 1 is knocked though, but this is the side of Disturbed getting peppered and bullied by Brazilian Killers. The spray comes out, finds 1, finds 2. Last player alive in the smoke. That frag was actually stolen by Team Queso, so Brazilian Killers aren't going to be too pleased with that one.
Yep, Sinocton is back and knows that Team Queso is there. They are supposed to position by taking down a couple of players from DT, or trying to kill the players from DTB as well. So Disturbed left with Indubia, all that's left. BRK still very strong here. Team Mystic with 4. He's in Queso with 4.
Team Queso and obviously the Brazilian Killers are in the box seat for this game. There is the 1 snake for Disturbed. A fresh level 3 crate for the side of Brazilian Killers will replenish the much needed armor that they have. They have picked up the M2492. Paralyzed will be playing around with that one. It's a fun gun. Spray the hell out of that smoke. Won't clutch anything though, but one of the Brazilian Killers has got knocked by the side of Disturbed, so not playing as disciplined maybe as he should, going for that solo peek. But now he will know where that player is from. Team Queso are just biding their time at the moment, not taking too many shots, as they are trying to spray into that smoke to find that last pesky DT player. They heard the shots come from that direction. They don't want to deal with any snakes in the grass. Mystic moving up very cautiously. There is 12 kills on Team Queso as well, so this is a very high kill game for our 2 squads with 4 remaining.
Ayala does get dropped back here. Mitek and Ayala will be finished off as well, so that makes it 3 for Team Queso now. They were trying to hide inside the grass, but now they have been found. Disturbed splash players coming in from the side as well. He's trying to shoot the players from Team Queso. Will be able to take down 1 as Snap takes down Mystic. Will be able to finish him off as well. Team Queso in a lot of trouble now.
He was knocked out. 1 player from Brazilian Killers does push up and get finished and completely finished. This is going for a 2v2 now, as 2 players from Brazilian Killers have forfeit their life, paralyzed, and 1 more remain on the side of Brazilian Killers. 15 kills for them, 14 kills for the side of Team Queso. This is coming down to the wire. It's a high kill game for both teams. Who can claim the final chicken dinner of the day on Erangel? Oh, Erangel, however you pronounce it. I'm Australian, so I can butcher all sorts of English words for fun.
That's really true. 2v2 situation right now. BRK in prime position to take this as well. I think Queso. So Team Queso could take this as well, could steal this away. They had the man advantage, but as soon as BRK pushed in, they were in a lot of trouble. Here comes the grenade.
Out, it hits too. It's a large amount of damage given out, and that crate is more center of the circle. The nade follow-up, will it get the knock? Doesn't. The medkit gets off just in time. If he didn't get that off, he was going down. Another nade flies out. It's pretty accurate. Gets a bit of damage into the Team Queso player, but not quite enough to knock them out. This crate position is the key here, I believe, with this being the only hard cover remaining in the game. M249 stays up. So one of the Team Queso players is actually getting knocked out by the zone, so it's left to a 2v1. Erangel is the only Team Queso player alive.
Erangel all alone. He's getting sprayed down. They have an inkling of where he's at because the nick came flying through because they know the position of Erangel because he stood up a little bit just now. Now Mitek still behind the same place because as you said, he's safe behind it, but he gets sprayed down as well. Paralyzed against Erangel now, 1v1.
1v1 indeed, as Paralyzed starts to throw out some smoke grenades to try to protect his friend on the crate. That is down. He's gone out, or he's recovering, well, trying to recover him, actually. He's moving towards him as the bottom of the top screen. You can't see him, but he's crawling across. You see him in that bottom left-hand screen as there is a bit of deflate on that road. So currently not in line of sight, but he will try and go for the res. It's going to be a quick one too. Behind this UAZ they parked there earlier. This Team Queso player is just slowly moving up, snaking their way. Once they hit this road, they are now open. They know that they're pushing out wide towards this, but there's 2 Brazilian Killers players alive. Spam comes in. Both of the Brazilian Killers players are lining up. This could be a spray down. It will be a spray down. It's so close. There's only 1 HP remaining on both these Brazilian Killers players. They're so low. One tick from the zone will take them both out. They're sat right on top of each other. This UAZ is protecting them. But it will be the Brazilian Killers that take the end as the peak comes out. The headshot lands, and despite how close that was, Brazilian Killers claiming the first chicken dinner of the day for them. 3 games with 10+ kills. It was being a massive day for the Brazilian Killers for the side of the kill points. Not the placement points they would have liked overall, but they do finish on a high note. But Team Queso also almost equaling them on kill points. What a finish we had there. I thought for sure those Brazilian Killers players were going to line up and fall down.
Yeah, they were very, very low as well. As you said, Erangel played it fantastically there. We stood up at the right timing after the play was rest. So the guy was very, very low as well. Didn't really have time to kind of go for the heal out. As soon as Erangel came in, they had to commit to the fight. When they went out, they were very, very low. But Erangel, though, he was kept all alone. So they know where he's at. They just aim on towards him, and that's how they got the kill.
Yeah, it was the old double peak coming out where, you know, you're 2 players alive versus 1 player. You want to pick them at the exact same time. You can't get both of you at the same time. He needs to transfer his spray, and that requires a tremendous amount of spray control and skill, as we see some highlights of the game coming through. This is more squad wipes coming through. This is B4. The old Bastardos going in for this compound rush, which ended up being biting them in the bum. Brazilian Killers, this was them just taking compound after compound, team fight after team fight, 4K after 4K, and the impressive thing about this all today, Brazilian Killers, they weren't trading at all. Every time they went into an engagement, they seemed to come out with 4 alive and 4 dead on the enemy side.
Finally, though, they have found their strike. They have built one. I was waiting for this for the last 3 games, so finally, Brazilian Killers have gotten the win.
They certainly have an important one at that. It was a big chicken dinner. We saw some big chicken dinners today. We saw a 19 kill game previously. This one was not quite 19, but it was around that 16, 17 kill mark. It was a good way to end the day for the South American region. I can't wait to see how the standings finish after that. Those top 4 teams are all within QE of each other.
Yeah, it should be very, very close as well because Brazilian Killers have gotten so much kills, as you said. Every single game they got in kills, although the placement wasn't as good. Now finally they've gotten themselves a chicken dinner, so hopefully they'll shoot themselves way up. And maybe Nova Esports are now in a lot of problems because Nova was, I think, as 4th, if I'm not mistaken, so they get put down lower a little bit.
Yeah, Nova didn't have the hottest game at the end of the day there, same as the Bastardos, so I don't think they'll be sitting at the top of the leaderboard anymore. Having a look, we see the Brazilian Killers getting 36 points from this game, 28 for Team Queso. They were rewarded handsomely. 16 kills for that chicken dinner, Disturbed with a nice finish up there. Nova, they did get 8 points of the placement, 10 points overall, so they're not too bad. 6-9, our previous winners of the day with 19 kills, they end up going out in 6th place, so not a follow-up game they were expecting. Cream Esports is a big one there for me, as they were sitting towards the back end of the table in the elimination zone, so getting themselves some more points there is very important. Bastardos going out in 15th place, and Drunken Marines continue their poor form and their poor performance in this qualifier. I don't think they're going to be going through to the next stage.
So the overall standings in Nova Esports is put out to 4th place. Brazilian Killers back to number 1 now, now at number 1. Bastardos booted up to the 3rd place, and Brazilian Killers, and that's the real story here. Second winner chicken dinner for them with 144 points, 129 for 6-9 Esports, Bastardos with 127, Nova Esports 117. They're all just so close to each other, especially 6-9 Esports and Bastardos, but Team Queso, one of the teams in the top 5 that hasn't gotten themselves a winner chicken dinner just yet. If they have gotten that win, they would have put themselves at least 20 points, and they would have beaten Nova Esports here.
Yeah, they would have been very close to Nova Esports, if not on top of them. Impressive that they are able to maintain that level of consistency without getting that chicken dinner to be up in that top 5 today. And we see some of the teams that haven't played today, they are the teams with the 4 games. But if you're looking at teams like Cream Esports, they are on 22nd place, which they're out of the relegation zone, but they have played their 8 games. Same as Eagle Eye Gaming, they haven't had the hottest run so far. INSANOS, who started the day at the bottom of the table, managed to find themselves some points. And Drunken Marines, they are in the relegation zone after 8 games. And wow, we see Brazilian Killers, what a day they've had. They have 2 players on top of the board, tied up, Center B and Mitek. Pedro also in the mix there for 6-9. He was being the star of that team for the whole time. But 3 of the 4 Brazilian Killers find themselves in the top 5 fraggers of South America after the 3rd day of games. What a way to seal the deal. Brazilian Killers have really lit up our screens today and put on a massive performance. I can't talk enough about them as they have claimed so many kills, an unreasonable amount of kills. And this lobby was stacked. We had 5 of the top 6 teams going in today in this lobby. Brazilian Killers have wiped the floor with all of them.
Yep, hopefully they will continue their strike as soon as the game starts in the next couple of days, because they played fantastically in these games so far. They got a lot of kills every single game. They were keeping up the momentum. That's one of the things that a lot of the squads kind of fail upon, is that keeping up the momentum, making sure that they always get good placements. But Brazilian Killers at the end of it finally get themselves winner chicken dinner and put themselves at the top of the table.
Well, we started off the day with Bastardos going hard in the paint, but we ended the day with the Brazilian Killers claiming their first chicken dinner of the day and their 2nd overall. Thank you for joining us on the PMCO Fall 2019 Split South American stream. Wish you all a good day, and we will see you again next time on the channel.